The National Communications Officer of the NDC convened a press conference where he made baseless, frivolous allegations that the NPP is planning to rig the December 7th elections. Among his outlandish claims, he alleged that Brigadier General Opoku, the General Officer Commanding of the Central Command of Ghana Armed Forces, as part of a supposed scheme involving ballot stuffing, swapping of ballot boxes and pig sheet, and other clandestine activities to tilt the balance of victory in favor of the NPP ahead of December 7th elections. These allegations, he claimed, are targeted at the Ashanti region, beginning from the special voting exercise scheduled for December 2nd. Permit me to say this, that the statement is, the allegations made by the National Communication Officer and the NDC are entirely baseless, devoid of any iota of credible evidence, and represent yet another desperate attempt by the NDC to raise tension and distract the people of Ghana from their own misdeeds. You level against a reputable army officer baseless allegations. You do not provide any, not even a single evidence, and yet you want us to take you serious. I have said that nobody can rig these elections. Look, we will vote at the polling station. We will count at the polling station. Collation will be done. The New Patriotic Party shall emerge victorious. His Excellency the Vice President will be the next president. Nobody can foment any sort of trouble, whatever form, whatever shape. I dare, if you want, try. Nobody. We will vote in peace. We will cast our ballot in peace. Ghana will be united. Ghana will not fall. And I'm telling you, the New Patriotic Party shall emerge victorious. Indeed, the NDC's communications officer and the NDC failed to substantiate their claim with facts or evidence, demonstrating that this is nothing more than a fabrication designed to divert attention from NDC's own wicked machinations to destabilize the Ashanti region, all because it is a stronghold of the NPP. Ladies and gentlemen, the NDC's desperation is palpable. Their press conference is part of a broader strategy to create unnecessary tension, fear, and panic in the Ashanti region by manufacturing an atmosphere of insecurity. Unfortunately, in doing so, the NDC has stopped to tarnishing the hard-earned reputation of Brigadier General Opoku and the Central Command of the Ghana Armed Forces. Such baseless attacks on the integrity of the armed forces are reckless and dangerous. And you recall, it's this same National Communications Officer who, before the 2020 election, said that all security personnel recruited during the regime of the New Patriotic Party, they should know that their tenure is coterminous with that of the New Patriotic Party. And so, if you were recruited, so we are talking about the over 100,000 security personnel recruited under the New Patriotic Party. This reckless statement from the NDC's National Communication Officer suggested that in an unlikely event that the NDC is back, they are going to terminate the appointment of every immigration officer, every police officer, every military officer, every prison officer, all security officers who were recruited from 2017 to 2024. Such reckless statement. That is the same person saying, throwing all of these baseless allegations around. Let it be known that the NPP will not tolerate any such devilish plans by the NDC. We call on the Inspector General of Police, IGP, and all security and intelligence agencies to closely monitor individuals like COP Kofi Boakye, who have been identified as a central figure in these destabilizing schemes. The NPP is also serving notice that any individual who attempts to foment chaos during the December 7th election, especially in the Ashanti region, should think twice, as such actions will be met not equal force, but with much bigger force to protect the peace, stability, and democratic process of our nation.
Keep almost all their flagship promises to Ghanaians, but they have totally run down Ghana's economy, leading to unprecedented hardships and an ever-worsening standard of living. Ghanaians need the experience and steady pair of hands His Excellency John Dramani Mahama offers. His proven track record of sound economic management and the right transformational vision is what Ghana needs at a time such as this to steer us out of the current abyss we find ourselves. We in the NDC are convinced that Ghanaians will vote for change on December 7th. You can say amen to that. Amen. Because the people of Ghana will choose the experienced, tried and tested nation builder, John Dramani Mahama, over the dangerous and fraudulent experiment called Alhaji Bawumia. The NPP knows this, and seeing defeat staring at them in the face, have resorted to dark and evil plans to rig the election through ballot stuffing, the swapping of ballot boxes, pink sheets, and other shady activities using willing and dangerous collaborators like Brigadier General Opoku and the 2BN commanding officer, Lieutenant Colonel Nyako Osai. Ladies and gentlemen, Ghana is all we have. Hence the NDC's unconditional commitment to peace. Anyone who plots or attempts to subvert the will of the people by undermining the sanctity of the upcoming election is an enemy of the state and must be dealt with in accordance with law. We all owe it a sacred duty to God and country to expose and stop such characters so as to ensure that the peace and democracy we enjoy today is sustained. Thank you very much for your attention, and may God bless our homeland, Ghana. Calabash. If he says that he will chew a crab, you don't have to argue with him, because there isn't much of a difference between a crab and a calabash. We have shown you the track record of the man we are talking about, Brigadier General Opoku. You all saw what happened at Ayawaso West Wuogon. It was the first time in the history of Ghana that we saw so-called national security operatives wearing masks, armed to the teeth with sophisticated weapons, brazenly and openly assaulting innocent, unarmed civilians, maiming people. You saw that. Today there are many people, there are some people who can't walk. They have suffered lifetime deformities because of the brutalities meted to them by those NPP hoodlums. And you heard the confession of the man. He said he takes responsibility. The Elmi Short Commission found him liable for those atrocities and recommended that he should be reprimanded Are you not worried that the president did not implement that recommendation? And instead of, in what country can a man like this man receive a promotion from colonel to brigadier general? In what country can a man like this man be rewarded after maiming people, brutalizing people, be rewarded with the position of general officer commanding of the Central Command? In what country? His mere appointment is a scandal, because this is a man who should be facing sanctions and not be enjoying promotion. And as for evidence, these matters are based on credible intelligence we have picked. We know what we are talking about. Unfortunately, the MPP is in office, so they will not allow for a search to be conducted in the presence of the media at his residence. But the media, you have reporters in Kumasi. If he has nothing to hide, he should open his doors today for you to go around his house and check, if he has nothing to hide. But they are in power. The man has been rewarded. They have soldiers guarding his house 24/7, holding arms. So you don't expect that they are going to open their doors and say, come and take pictures. No, they won't do that. But we know what we are talking about. Our intelligence is rock solid, and his track record bears our assertions out. It's as simple as that. And if you doubt us, then the question is, of all the people in the military, how come that it is only this man who was found worthy of the position of General Commanding Officer for Central Command? And how come that this appointment was given to him in 2024? Why not Northern Command? Why Central? Why Ashanti region? You think it's a mere coincidence? Well, we don't think so. So Ghanaians are discerning. They can put 1 + 1 together. They can make their own judgment. But as for us, we will continue to monitor them very, very keenly, because we know and believe that the intelligence we have is rock solid. Yes.
Right, my name is Ube. I report for
Central, I think you got your answer. We are excited that the Member of Parliament for Amenfi Central has made that decision. The interests of our party and the decisions of the party always hold supreme, and it's important that all members comply. And so the party is united in Amenfi Central behind the duly elected parliamentary candidate of the party, Mrs. Joanna Kujo. And I believe that Honorable Kwachiaka fully supports President Mahama as well as the candidate for the NDC for the presidential election. So you have your answer. And there was a question about whether or not we intend to present any evidence to the CDS. I believe that upon our petition being brought before the CDS and the IGP, there may be a call for further and better particulars. And at that level, we will share the details of our intel with them. These kind of security intelligence are not matters that you share on TV and radio. But when we meet them, when they give us that audience, we are happy to share that with them, because we need to, in the public domain, at least protect our sources. So that is what I can say. And I think that same answer also applies to the last question we had as well. So, ladies and gentlemen, this is a summary of the press conference we did today. I'm going to do a brief translation in the Akan language, and let me say this finally. You all, as media men, have a role to play in this year's election. You are the fourth estate of the realm, and you should be interested in the peace and stability of Ghana, and in the sanctity, the credibility of the electoral process. You've seen this man. Once upon a time, 2019, Colonel Michael Opoku, today Brigadier General Michael Opoku. So you have a conscience, and you have your own ethics of your profession. Ask yourself whether this man is fit to be the General Officer Commanding of the Central Command of the Ghana Armed Forces. Ask yourself if he's even fit to wear the uniform he's wearing today, given the atrocities he supervised against innocent civilians at Ayawaso, West Wuogon, and the recommendations of the Short Commission on Sin. I believe that every reasonable man will agree with us that this man is a threat to the peace and stability of Ghana and a threat to peaceful elections in Ghana. And he must be held accountable for the atrocities he has already committed at Ayawaso West Wuogon and not rewarded with such a critical position. And so for us as a political party interested in having a credible election, a peaceful election, and like I said, our commitment to Ghana having a peaceful election is unconditional. And that is why we are saying this guy should be nowhere near the security architecture for this country, because he represents a very dangerous threat to peaceful elections and the stability of Ghana.
When you have your uncle, unfortunately today, there's only one uncle here. So when you have your uncle, and you have brothers and sisters all in one place, it gives you a lot of comfort, and you find it difficult to be formal. So forgive me if I ended up being formal. I didn't cause it. The relationship between myself and your very good self across the room might be held responsible. So without much protocol, I want to add my voice to the words of welcome that preceded me from our director in charge of public affairs and also our director general in charge of operations. Second, I want to say that today the purpose, much as is about the elections, is no more about the details of our plans. We'll have another meeting with you in terms of the details of our plan and the assurances that you need to have for yourself, for your families, and for the people you serve. But because my two other officers and also my uncle and my kid brother have spoken about the fact that you want to hear a little about the elections, I'll be very snappy on that and then come back to the main reason why we invited you. As for the elections, it is a saying that agrobeswa efranopa. In effect, if truly we are going to see a good show, you should look at the beginning, even though it does not always happen as such. But we are committed because of the efforts we put in our planning towards these elections. We are clear in our minds where the challenges are, where the issues are, and we have sufficiently put in measures to address them. And if you can see from all the work we've done since this election process started in earnest, from all the Electoral Commission's activities to date, you will see that there is truly an effective and efficient security plan in place, whose effectiveness has been strengthened by the support and collaboration of all stakeholders, including your very good self. So for that reason, we are grateful. The service is grateful to you. The National Election Security Task Force, comprising all the security agencies, are grateful to you. and more so, Ghana that you serve through your information and gatekeeper role is grateful. You can never be left out of the equation for it to be balanced. Without you, the equation of ensuring that our democratic dispensation becomes the envy of others will not balance. So we want you to be aware that we hold you in high esteem. Thank you for being there for Mother Ghana. And let's do this together and make this election a success. So you will see that compared to previous elections, the tension in the environment is different and relatively manageable. And at times, if you look at it across the matters of democracy, you see that even the tension in their environment during the election is more than what we experience in our country. In fact, today I played host to a very important person from Kenya. And he walked into my office and he said, until I came to your office and you're talking about elections, I didn't know Ghana was having elections in the next 2 weeks. And the calmness of the environment, the less tension in the environment, is the credit to every Ghanaian that we must be proud of. So you see that because of the things we put in place, and your support and the support of the larger community and other stakeholders, we are gradually getting to the end of a campaigning cycle or period where we haven't seen much of the things that put us on tenterhooks. Let us finish hard and prove a point to the rest of Africa that truly Ghana is always a trailblazer. And let us use our collective achievement to let the black man, and for that matter, African, shine in the eyes of the rest of the world. Let's finish hard on the campaigning. Then when we come to the D-Day, it's another leg. Let's double our commitment, which we are doing from the security point of view. That is why I keep referring to a 5,430-something or 40-something page document, a blueprint, a deployment plan for only the D-Day. That demonstrates the amount of effort, commitment, and energies we put in place in ensuring that we work together with you and other stakeholders to make this election a one of a kind in terms of peace, security, law, and order. The credit will be for all of us. So let us all get on board. Then on the D-Day, in terms of deployment across the polling stations, we are there. Across the hotspots, we are there. Across the collation centers, we are there. And also across patrols and rapid response, we are there. We are currently working with the telcos to assign to us a dedicated number that will be used in this room. We will share that with you, share that with all the political parties, share that with all the stakeholders, so that wherever you find yourself, when there is a situation, and the situation you think that is not being managed well, and you need intervention at the very highest, you can, through calling that number, access myself directly, and assess any of the commissioners and the team members on the ground. And we are going to use an engagement approach to handle the situation by bringing on board all the stakeholders at the very highest level. So that at the end of the day, any situation that normally starts very small, then because of lack of perfect mechanism for resolving it, it gets out of hand, we will virtually eliminate it. Let me explain that probably better. Normally what we've seen at the polling station, something will happen, something very trivial, that need a little patience and a little engagement to iron out the differences. It will be more handled, and at times the security personnel on the ground will do his very best and so you have issues with party officials, agents, and others trying to create problems. When that happens, and it comes to our attention, we will call to that grounds from here, get the regional commander, other senior officers on grounds on the phone, get the political parties from their national level, their district level, constituency level, also on the phone, and find out what exactly is the matter on the ground. And it may come in multiples, but because the dedicated line has core transferring capacity or capability, we'll be able to be dealing with multiple issues at the same time, because as soon as it comes, we'll then refer it, a commissioner will be on it, who may call a general secretary of the two parties or national organizers of the two parties, who will call an agent of the parties on the ground, and we look at the issue. And when they get to know that the very top is helping them to solve it, they'll end up not taking matters into their own hands before we go in there and reactively respond to a situation that has gotten out of hand. So a lot of thinking is going to this whole process and trying to look at all the possible issues that can bring problems and find a very peaceful mechanism to resolving them in a manner that will help us to make sure that at the end of the day, little misunderstanding that may come, the way they are resolved to the satisfaction of everybody will lead to no problem in terms of any violence. The other point that we keep also saying, also to the people who think that they can probably come out making statements to intimidate and do all that, we want to tell them that life will become very uncomfortable for them. So they shouldn't even try it. Because at the end of the day, when you do anything and de-escalation fails, you do anything and engagement fails, when we come and will come with the full force of the law in a manner that dignifies us as a people, please don't complain. And it is here that we want to seek your support as we do that in a way that the people will know that at the end of the day, if the police also get it right, they have people to speak for them. Than the normal issue that when we get it right, it's no news. It's normal. But as soon as we seem to got it wrong, even if the facts are now clear, it's a big news. Let's help ourselves to avoid that. So in summary, in terms of the preparation for the election, this is just the excerpt I want to give you to be comfortable and use it to tell your people who listen to you across the country that Ghana will continue to enjoy the peace that it has been enjoying during this period of the election, and even that peace, because of the way all of us will work together to prosecute this election in a manner that winners will know that they have won. Losers will also know that they have lost, and they have lost fairly. And therefore, they have no business trying to incite anybody to do anything that will disturb the peace. Will be clear in their mind, and there will be no motivation for them to do that. And this country will continue to enjoy the peace that we cherish so dearly, for which we have become the envy of the rest of the continent. Now, let me speak to the reason why we are here today. We are here today because of you. We know the critical role that you are playing in this country. And we know how critical that role has become during these particular elections. And for that matter, we are concerned about your safety and security. So we decided to call you and let you know what we have put in place to give you the peace of mind, for you to be able to go about your duties without any fear of thinking that something will happen to you or happen to your household or happen to the institution that you work. So that is the main purpose. And we are doing it in a manner that one of my colleagues will speak to in terms of the 6 or 7 points that we will put in place to work with you. This time, a little different from what you have been experiencing in the past. And when we are able to work together on this line, we can assure you, you yourself will have more confidence to go out there and do your job. You have more confidence to operate from the facilities that you work with. And you have more confidence to close from work and go to home safely without thinking of any harm being done to you.
Acknowledging the Deputy Chair Finance, Deputy Chair Operations, Commission Secretary and Directors of NCCE Civic Education. These dialogues are important fixtures on the NCCE's election year calendar and fulfill the requirements regarding functions of the Commission as stated in our Enabling Act, National Commission for Civic Education Act 1993, Act 452. The political parties, traditional authority, security apparatus in the district, religious leaders, local government, and other leadership structures in the district. The NCC is happy to announce the successful commencement of the 2024 parliamentary candidates dialogues across the 275 constituencies of the country. These dialogues are part of an ongoing commitment to fostering an informed electorate and promoting peaceful, issue-based elections in Ghana. The NCCE Parliamentary Candidates Dialogues, PCDs, are platforms for interaction at the constituency level and provides avenues for candidates to articulate their vision and policies for the constituency they want to lead and engage with constituents on issues of national concern.
I present you with the copy of the final certified voters register for the 2024 election. Thank you very much.
Our flag bearer, our presidential candidate, His Excellency Alhaj Dr. Muhammadu Bawumia, would be the next president of the Republic. From all indications, up, down the country, we are winning the presidential elections, and then we're also going to have a clear majority. The chaotic scenes perpetuated by the NDC in Parliament will be the thing of the past. The New Patriotic Party will have a clear majority in Parliament.
What is the difference between the ordinary thief and a political thief? Number one, the ordinary thief steals your money, your bag, your watch, and your jewelry, isn't it? But the political thief steals your future, your career, your education, your health, and your business. Number two, the hilarious part is that the ordinary thief will choose whom to rob. But you are the one who choose the political thief to rob you. Because we choose them. We vote them. We blindly say we are not blind. Who is deceiving who? The ridiculous part of the whole issue is that we will fight to defend and protect our belongings from the ordinary thief. Is it not? But we fight each other to defend and protect the political thief. Is that not what we do? Thugs will be fighting themselves to protect those that are stealing our career, stealing our joy, stealing our health, stealing our success. What a shame.
If you reach a certain stage in life and there is nobody who can look you in the eye and tell you the truth, you are doomed. And that is where our country has gotten to. We need to rescue this country. Wallahi. And I feel very terrible as a Ghanaian at this time. This country is in serious trouble, ladies and gentlemen. We are in serious trouble. We need to rescue this country, ladies and gentlemen. The presidency has been so depraved, so muddied, so dirtied, that I tell you in all sincerity as a Ghanaian, that I feel terribly sad today as a Ghanaian. We need to rescue this country. Wallahi. Inshallah.
Please don't cry.
We shall rescue our country.
Government is broke, government is broke. The people are spending billions to go inside the government that is broke. Have you ever seen a minister who resigned because government is broke before? Government has no money. Have you ever seen a governor who said, ladies and gentlemen, when I was elected, I thought the government had money. Now I discover government has no money, I resign. Have you ever seen it? Government has no money, but they are bringing money out at election time. Where is that money coming from? So they are lying. What is happening is that There are two types of wicked people in government. Type 1, they eat current money. Any money they find in government, they will eat it. They are wicked about that one. There is type 2. Type 2, they eat current money and future money. They will say, my term will end next year. When I leave, how will I eat money? Let me borrow money now and borrow money of the future and eat it now.
Hello, good morning and welcome to the show. This is Good Morning Ghana live on Metro TV. It's a Thursday, the 21st day of November, 2024. By His grace, we're live and we're here. We're here to another edition of the show. Our gratitude to go to Most High God for the rare privilege of being alive and, of course, the opportunity of having another conversation around the top stories making rounds here in our dear Republic. I'll let you into our panel for the morning's conversation shortly. But let's take a look at the front pages of our newspapers. Daily Graphic. Economy on recovery course. President Akufo-Addo. Customs seizes firearms at Tema Port. President appoints Herbert Krapah, Energy Minister. National Service Authority. Military to increase livestock production. The Ghanaian Times. 524 diasporans granted citizenship to reconnect them to ancestral roots. New Bank of Ghana headquarters unveiled. New building handed over to Nigeria High Commission. Daily Guide. Election 2024. You are safe with us. Please assures media. NDC tax in court. Attack NPP Zongo team. Cheddar makes inroads on constituency store. Herbert Krapah is Energy Minister. Causes Champions League unveils hidden talents. Okwe Junior roots for Bawumia. The Insight. Election 2024. Please assure media practitioners of their safety. The current anti-imperialist upsurge in the Sahel is irreversible, say leaders at historic conference in Niamey. Pram murdered chief case. Nana Tetewaka III, 9 others to face High Court trial. Suhum MP exposed as documents reveal government support amid public denial. Be courageous and sign anti-LGBTQ bill into law before handing over power. Apostle Agbalenyoto Akufo-Addo. The Daily Statesman. Recovery of economy on course, Akufo-Addo declares. President swears in 5 new envoys. GRA intercepts 40-foot container of ammunition at Tema Port. NDC plotting to disrupt elections with vigilante groups. Daily Post. Professor Nana Jane condemns government for knowingly giving expired rights to secondary schools. EC has appointed known NPP members as the officials. Akando reveals. Ghana faces load shedding ahead of IPP shutdown. Threats. Jinapo. The National Democrats. Doomsol looms as more IPPs plan a shutdown. Mahama accuses government of collapsing business, rendering local firms unprofitable. The once touted Messi, now reduced to ball boy. Krontihini Chides Bawumia. 53 pistols, 74 magazines, live rounds uncovered at Tema Port. Ghana Palava. Mahama extends lead to 51.9% according to latest Global Info Analytics poll. Tema Port, 53 pistols, 74 magazines, and live ammunition seized. Business and Financial Times. President Lord's Bank of Ghana's commitment to sound monetary and financial policies. A central bank inaugurates new headquarters. MIF's Gold Trade Desk attracts $1.02 billion in 12 months. Bank of Ghana's interventions help cedi recover, but market watchers are concerned. Interoperable payment systems advance financial inclusion report. Revised mining policies to address demands for transition minerals, NRGI. Feature stabilizing the economy, a case for a 24-hour transformation. Rural banking. Amenfiman wins overall best rural bank award, bags 5 others. Congratulations. That's about it for the front pages. We'll be back shortly.
There's nothing worse than your multi-bet missing, but nothing better than having it saved. BetSaver.
Good business means seeing the possibilities and maximizing opportunities. Making sure you have a responsive support system backs your business goals. A partner that gives you a stable platform with reliable connectivity and seamless solutions, and better understands the tools required to take you to the next level. With so many moving parts in running a business, we do our best to provide you with some stability. The only kind of stability you can find with MTN Business Broadband, the fastest and most reliable internet provider in Ghana, making sure you stay ahead and stay connected, because we understand what makes your business tick.
Sign up today on broadband.mtn.com.gh or call or WhatsApp 0244 308 111.
MTN.
Remember the dark days of Dumso under Mahama's administration? Vital surgeries halted. Dumso killed many people and will kill many more if we do not vote wisely. Dumso destroyed many businesses and will destroy more if we do not vote wisely. Businesses suffered irreparable losses. Dumso disrupted family life and will do more if we do not vote wisely. Student studies disrupted. MPP's era has seen stable power supply. Never again should we return to Dumso. Let's keep the lights on. Vote wisely.
Esuro. Vote number 1 on the ballot.
Look around. Home also need a makeover. Mine clearly does. So we went to Ashroom and found the Como collection. It had everything we're looking for and more. Matching furniture for the entire home, designed with you in mind.
Where's Como collection? Dressing up is just a breeze. Always ready with a perfect accessory.
A magic dressing mirror. One look and you're ready to face the world. Or at least the kids.
A bed perfect for young men who want
a table that turns into a treasure chest.
And finally, a sofa with this grand TV unit for family time at home.
Head over to any Ashphone store now and discover the new Como collection. Ashphone, feel it, know it.
Mahama once said,
I've seen more demonstrations and strikes in my first 2 years. I don't think it can get worse in the second 2 years. I have the deaf goat syndrome.
Dada Noir. On December 7th, vote for integrity, competency, and development. Esuro.
Here's Kwame and Yao. After hours of planning, both have locked in the same perfect multi-bet. Big win for United, over 1.5. And both teams to score in the London Derby. But who could have picked Leicester over City? Or a high-scoring game at the Bridge? There's nothing worse than having your perfect multi-bet missing. But there's nothing better than having it saved. Bet Saver. Win, even if your bet misses.
Ama, nansi mi jeno wo bin enko ye kwao. Ama ma ye bohu se kontomra akija.
Nansi me hu se mi nyo basi makura. Ama me kunu me into kwankwa. Oh you right. Enye mo ko. Give us GC mixture and the capsules. Aye num boom. En ho asem na mo kana. E boa emma ene meme nyina. Na ma wo ba ye obesima. Na be ma so aye be masima. Ya, we be bua ukru. Ama ne giant sa wo de hye ne botum. Na wanyinya nanim te sese ne wo yi chopwa. GC mixture and capsule. Ashisa.
A pin for a batter, one more menu for one and Kwada when you feel to me.
Who is the biggest liar in Ghana? Let's see what Google says. It looks like Dr. Bawumia. Yes, it's him.
In the northern part of our country where you come from, and Amono, can you beat your chest and say, yeah, yet this signature project in the north?
I think the most important project in the north since independence, a Pualugu Dam project.
Okay.
Is the biggest investment. We're here as a signature project, and in Ebeda #1, so there's no doubt about that.
A few moments later,
I have no doubt in my mind, and I was championing the Pualugu Dam. We have not yet been able to do it, but by the grace of God, I believe we are going to do the Pualugu Dam. It has to be done.
Hey, no more lies. Enough is enough. Ghana deserves better. Let's bring back someone who delivers.
Vote John Dramani Mahama for president. Trustworthy, honest, and reliable. Vote for change. Choose the umbrella. Vote John Dramani Mahama and the NDC.
You're the answer to my prayer. You're with me everywhere. You're my angel, miracle. You're all I need tonight. Give me shelter from the rain. You breathe life in me again. You're my angel, miracle. You're all I need to know tonight.
I completed JSS in 1997. I got admission to Insaban Secondary School in 1998. When I was about to complete my first year, my dad lost his job, so I was kicked out of school because of school fees. My mom was a people teacher whose salary couldn't even buy food in the house, let alone paying my school fees. I stayed in the house for 3 good years, and I sold farm milk at Aguna Swedro before I was able to gather something to go back to school. That time, I couldn't go back to Insaban Secondary School because it was among the middle class schools, which I couldn't afford, so I went to a different school. The saddest story to happen to me in my life was a day I was selling yogurt around the Greenland Hotel area when 3207 Mercedes-Benz bus stopped and they called me to buy some of the yogurt. I was the only person hawking there, so I knew business was going to be good. When I got to the bus, it was my mates at Insaban who have completed school, and those from Accra had hired 3 buses to take them back from Insaban to Accra. Most of them accused me of being a bad boy for dropping out of school and selling yogurt. They bought everything in my box, but after they left, I went to sit somewhere and I cried. They made me feel like it was my fault, but such is life.
Thanks to the NPP government for free SHS. If free SHS was there in my time, I would have completed school with my mates.
On December 7th, let's vote #1. Let's vote for Dr. Bawumia. Esroho.
The luckiest.
Star 712#.
Luck is everywhere.
8K. Hey, you can get 8K. Get that packing from your Pokemon. Hey, wait.
You can put it on his tab. This is my man. Good luck.
Hey, yo, Bill Radio. We are star 712. I'm on dialing the magic numbers. Star 712. Now welcome to the luckiest. And now with me at home ticket. You can buy for yourself or your loved one.
Mommy, tell mommy who's here.
You're buying for me, right?
Or who else?
Oh.
Let's choose buy tickets for others.
Love you, boo boo.
Maybe straight to option 4. Now, you need to buy tickets worth 50 Ghana to qualify. Yes, you can buy random or preferred tickets. I'm choosing random tickets. Listen, if you buy the random ticket, the system chooses a random number for you. But if you buy the preferred, you get to input your own preferred 5 digits. 5.
Baby, give me your 5 numbers.
And how much are we buying?
Babe, look at the body and buy you.
With your body,
Hey,
there we are. Tread cautiously. Now follow the prompts and confirm. Now the luckiest.
The luckiest is regulated by the NLA on the Caritas platform, not for persons below 18 years. TNCs apply.
I am a Christian and I belong to the Assemblies of God Church. Ordinarily, building a house of God is something that we all do. I contributed monies in my local Assemblies of God branch to build our church. And it's created an environment for us to praise and worship our God. But I don't condone stealing in the name of God. And that is what has happened in the case of this National Cathedral. And we are sure that public funds were not going to be used for the National Cathedral. Unfortunately, we hear that 300 and something million has gone into it. Where did those payments go? Were they justified? Who did they go to? These are all things that we have to unravel. And I think that that is the first thing we do before we even decide what to do with that huge pit. And if people have, illegally and unlawfully taking the monies of the people of Ghana, they must be made to refund those monies.
Vote John Dramani Mahama for president. Trustworthy, honest, and reliable. Vote for change. Choose the umbrella. Vote John Dramani Mahama and the NDC.
There's nothing worse than your multi-bet missing, but nothing better than having it saved. BetSaver.
Right, welcome back to the show. If you just joined us, this is Good Morning Ghana live on Metro TV. And it's been an awesome journey with Momo from MTN. 15 years of ease, safety, and convenience. This is definitely worth celebrating. That's why the Momo at 15 Rewards is here with amazing cash prizes to say thank you. Send money to an MTN Momo user to make payments to an MTN Momo merchant at no cost whatsoever, only on MTN. So go on, download My Momo on the App Store or Play Store to enjoy this. Just Momo it everywhere you go. Terms and conditions apply. And if you're thinking of getting that toothpaste that will take care of the entire family and save you some money, the recommended family toothpaste is KEL 360 toothpaste. It's approved by the Food and Drugs Authority. KEL 360 toothpaste provides you and your family with all-round dental protection throughout the day with freshness. KEL 360 toothpaste is good for kids, children, and adults. Let your family be a proud family when they step out by constantly using KEL 360 toothpaste. KEL 360 toothpaste brightens your teeth, prevents cavity, and with its cool mint, gives you fresh breath throughout the day and protects the gum from decaying. For consistency and quality, use KEL 360 toothpaste. It's another product from Samara Company Limited, producers of Sasso. It's available in all supermarkets, malls, and provision shops. You can call Samara Company on 0246 864 798. KEL 360 toothpaste, happy smile. Right. So with me on the show this morning is Dr. Dixon Adumaku Kisi. He's the Member of Parliament, the Honorable Member of Parliament for the Anyaso Utum constituency, and is also a medical doctor. Doc, good morning.
Good morning.
I haven't seen you in a while. Where have you been?
I come at your pleasure. So at any point in time that I'm invited, I will show up, especially when I'm in Accra.
Right.
Sometimes our work takes us far and away. But let me, in a way, commend you. I think media work certainly is powerful. And I must say, you're doing a very fantastic job, and the entire crew of Metro TV. You're educating some of us on a regular. And though, I mean, we don't always have the entire story, I think you're doing your very best. Yeah.
We're trying. Thank you very much. And as you guys have in Parliament,
well,
does it look like you're gonna sit before the election?
The most likely thing is after the election. The way things are, I think 2 weeks into the election, it's best we just finish, and then the true majority will even show after the election. And I think that in a way, tempers are a bit down now, and it is important leading into the election that members of parliament or the two main parties in this country appear to be having cool heads. And let me use this opportunity to talk about peaceful elections. I was lucky to be in the US a few days into the elections and after. And in fact, I know it will take us a long time to get there, where polling centers were without police, polling centers were without violence, polling centers where you just come in, cast your ballot, within about 10 minutes you go home or go to work. And it was fascinating to observe it and to ask myself, why are we brandishing cutlasses in this country at this point in time, when the elections largely about display of ideas, and then voters will make a decision whether you're going to be useful to them in the next 4 years or not. So I want to use this opportunity to plead, not just to those of us voting, but more importantly, the political actors, that we do our very best to ensure that people are comfortable moving out of their homes to go and vote. And people are doing so without fear. And people are also very sure that what they cast is what will be counted. And so that our elderly women and men and our pregnant women and others who are vulnerable in the community will not be afraid to go out and cast their vote. So I want to use this opportunity. I think earlier on you showed something from the NCCE in relation to dialogue amongst the two parties to ensure that we have a very peaceful election and, shall I say, peaceful declaration of a winner or a loser. And I always like this thing with sports. They say, may the best man win. And when that happens, I think none of us should blame whether poor campaign messaging or the opponent. It's the Ghanaians that will make a decision on December 7th. And I think, to a large extent, as of today, I must say that Sammy Gyamfi knows who he's voting for. Dr. Kisi knows who he's voting for. And if we were even very minded, we'll just, at this point, maybe just relax and be managing how we'll carry ourselves on election day in a very peaceful way. So this is my open submission with regards to December 7th.
Right, okay. So the National Communications Officer of the NDC, who's also a legal practitioner, Sammy Gyamfi, has joined us on the show. Good morning, Sammy.
Good morning, Doc.
Right. How are you doing?
The Lord has been gracious and kind, Doc. So far, much better. A campaign is making a lot of waves. We're getting a lot of traction across the length and breadth of Ghana. Our strategy is yielding the needed results, and Ghanaians are buying into the message of hope that His Excellency John Dramani Mahama is preaching across the length and breadth of Ghana. Of course, supported by his able running mate, Professor Nana Addo Dankwa, the national chairman of our party, General Mosquito, and other leading figures of the party. And we are very confident of a resounding victory come the 7th of December 2024, which, by the way, is barely 16 days away. So we're barely 2 weeks away from the D-Day, and we're looking forward to a peaceful election. We're looking forward to a free and fair elections. We're looking forward to an election where the will of the people is what prevails at the end of the day. And once that happens, we are confident that His Excellency John Dramani Mahama will not just win this election fair and square, but he will win it resoundingly with a very, very significant margin. Because traveling across the length and breadth of Ghana, Doc, you can see the despair, the disillusionment, the pain that Ghanaians are going through. Some will tell you that, look, we can't wait for 7th December to show the failed Akufo-Addo Bawumia MPP government the red card. They have flattered to deceive on almost all their flagship promises and have run down the Ghanaian economy, thereby imposing untold hardships on the people. And from the farmer to the trader to the student to the public sector worker or the private sector worker, the verdict is unanimous that their livelihoods have totally deteriorated, that they are far worse off than they were 8 years ago, and that what they were promised is not what they are experiencing today. And all they see is a thriving culture of corruption, state capture, and impunity, whilst their livelihoods, continue to deteriorate. And so, Ghana for that is what I believe, because that is what it boils down to. Elections are for the purpose of, making a choice so that you can see development in your community and transformation in your own lives. And this election is a choice between an incumbent vice president and chairman of the economic management team who has supervised the destruction of our economy, and a former president who managed this economy and bequeathed to the current government an economy with a sustainable debt position, an economy that could service its debt obligations, an economy with a stable credit rating of B-, an economy that created opportunities for all and not a select few. So people see that this is the choice between a failed economist, a man who made so much noise when he was in opposition and pretended as if he had a magic wand to turn around our economic fortunes, only for him to do the very opposite of the things he said in opposition. That today, people are struggling to even make ends meet. The hardship is just unbearable. Every single economic matrix has deteriorated, and that has translated negatively in the lives of Ghanaians. That is what I think this election boils down to. Whether Ghanaians will express satisfaction with the economic mismanagement we have seen in the last 8 years and express their will to see a continuity of that, economic mismanagement, or whether they will express their dissatisfaction with the management of the economy and say, look, Ghana needs a new direction. The trajectory our nation is on is not good for us. So the economy is what I think will decide this election. And aside the economy, another thing is character. character. Very, very important. And I've always said that in terms of character, the most important attributes or virtue a voter must look out for is trustworthiness in a leader, because that is the glue that, you know, it is the most important factor to look out for in every leader. Whether the word of that leader is his bond, whether you can go to the bank with the word of that leader, or whether that leader is simply dishonest. And in this election, the choice is clear relative to character, relative to trustworthiness. You have, on the side of the NDC, His Excellency John Dramani Mahama, who is honest, true and true. Even his opponents do not question his honesty, credibility, and trustworthiness. He is a man of his word. He delivers when he promises, and he has a proven track record to back that. On the other hand, you have Alhaji Bawumia, the failed economist, who has flattered to deceive on all the promises he made in opposition. And his record is there to buttress that as well. You have a man who has consistently told the people of Ghana lies. He's told the people of Ghana things he cannot do. He promised that concrete roads. He's not constructed even a kilometer of concrete roads anywhere. He promised the people of Cape Coast a harbour and an airport. He's not even started the foundation for a harbour. In fact, his own boss, Akufo-Addo, denied knowledge of that promise. Okay, thereby exposing Bawumia. He's the one who promised us a stable currency. Today you need more than 16 cedis, almost 17 Ghana cedis, to get $1 US. The CFA is even worse. It's same with the euro and the pound. And the debilitating impact that this has had on businesses and livelihoods is just unquantifiable and unimaginable. And Ghanaians know that. They know what he said about the fundamentals being of every economy being exposed by the exchange rate and what the reality is today. They know what he said about arresting the dollar and giving the keys to the IGP, and they see the reality today. They know what he said about moving Ghana from taxation to production, and today Ghanaians see the myriads of draconian taxes imposed on us by the same Mazodok. The election is about issues. That is why we have run an issue-based campaign throughout this election. And I believe that the message has gone down well. I believe that the Ghanaian is more discerning, more sophisticated today than he has ever been. That is what I believe. And I'm very, very confident that based on these issues, which, not according to Sammy Jefi, but even according to the polls, whether it is CDD's Afrobarometer or Global Info Analytics research, these are some of the issues that Ghanaians consider a priority relative to the choice they'll be making on 17th December. That's why I'm convinced.
Despite all the issues,
despite
all the issues that you said, or that you've just said, Emmanuel Boni reports on the front page of a daily graphic that the president, Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, has said that the economy is charting a course of recovery and resilience, driven by robust performances across construction, industry, agriculture, consumer demand, and tourism. He said recent data estimating the provisional GDP growth at 6.9% in the second quarter of the year demonstrated a dynamism of the Ghanaian economy, with non-oil GDP growth of 7.0%, further reinforcing the strength of the nation's economic fundamentals. And speaking to an audience of financial experts, policymakers, international guests in Accra yesterday, President Akufo-Addo alluded to the sharp reduction in inflation from a staggering 54.1% in 2022 to 22.1% as of October 2024. Quote, recent data from the Bank of Ghana paints a picture of resilience and promise. On the external front, President Akufo-Addo pointed out that the country recorded a trade surplus of $2.78 billion at the end of the first half, buoyed by robust gold and crude oil exports. The nation's international reserves stand at $7.5 billion, providing a critical buffer against external shocks. He attributed achievements to the prudent stewardship of the Bank of Ghana, emphasizing its indispensable role in navigating global uncertainties and fostering economic growth. Quote, these achievements reflect the bank's unalloyed commitment to sound monetary and financial policies. And the president noted that a downward trend in inflation, coupled with reducing prices of food and petroleum products, signaled a brighter economic future. And he emphasized the broader impact of the gains, including improved confidence among investors and enhanced opportunities for domestic and international stakeholders. And he's called on Ghanaians to remain optimistic and united in their pursuit of inclusive and sustained growth. And he made these observations when he inaugurated a new head office complex of the central bank located at the Ambassadorial Enclave at Ridge, which has been christened the Bank Square.
Well, Doc, the young men these days say, Kasai and Frama, talk is air. You see, this president we have is known for one thing, empty talk.
He's giving you data.
Data?
Yes.
That data is not current data. I
Why?
have current data.
Which one is current?
Okay.
He's speaking
So-
to second Q2.
Oh,
He's speaking
no, you
to
don't
October
decide.
inflation.
You see, you don't decide whether the economy is experiencing a rebound or recovery with just one economic matrix. And
He referred to inflation, not
okay,
just
so
one.
let's talk about inflation. Okay,
Inflation. He spoke about inflation. It spoke about reducing price of food and petroleum products. It spoke about confidence, improved confidence among investors. He spoke about trade surplus, 2.78 billion.
No,
He spoke
let's
about
go step
international
by step.
reserves.
Inflation, number one. Today, 3 hours ago, breaking news. Producer price of inflation. Producer price of inflation. I'm not talking about
PPI.
not the consumer.
PPI.
Let's start with the producer price index, the PPI. It has increased. We are being told this morning that it has increased from 30.5 to 33%. This is this morning. Even the CPI has increased in the last 2 consecutive months. It's been on an upward trajectory. You see, this government took over an economy with an inflation rate of 15.4%. Anything higher than that is worse than what was bequeathed to them, which they berated whilst in opposition. But that the rate is not even as worrying as a trend. If, for example, because with the 15.4 inflation we bequeathed to the MPP, it was on a downward trajectory. For the last 6 months of December 2016, inflation kept going down. And that is why when they took office, without even reading their budgets, in January, February, March, inflation kept going down. So for me, apart from the rate of inflation, one thing I look out for is the trajectory of inflation. Is it going downwards or upwards? If it's going downwards, then the president is right that we are seeing recovery.
But is that not the point he's making? He says that from a high of 54 in 2022, we have dropped to 22% as of October.
But what he fails to admit is that in the last 2 months, the trajectory of inflation rate in Ghana has been upwards. That's the point. This is a story published by Reuters, dated November 6, 2024. And it says, Ghana inflation rises for 2nd month in October. So Ghana's consumer inflation rose for the 2nd month in a row in October to 22.1%. Year on year from 21.5% in September. So inflation is rising again for 2 consecutive months. And that cannot be a sign of recovery. It's simple. It cannot be a sign of recovery. The exchange rate. We saw...
He didn't speak about exchange rate.
But he, Akufo-Addo, has told us that he's handicapped when it comes to economic management. In opposition, he said that Sidina hata. And that is why he has brought a young man called Bawumia, because it was under Kufuor's era, this Bawumia was the one who helped him manage the city. So, when it comes to economic management, everybody agrees that Akufo-Addo defers to Bawumia. Even at Ayawaso West Wuogon by-election, last campaign rally of the MPP, Akufo-Addo said publicly on stage that Bawumia is the man endowed with all the wisdom in the world. And this Bawumia says that the most important barometer or matrix for measuring the health of any economy is what? The exchange rate. So if Akufo-Addo says the economy is showing signs of recovery, let's go and look at what Bawumia, his economic wizard, economic messiah, economic consultant and advisor, says is the most important indicator. And that is the exchange rate. And look, today you need more than 16 Ghana cedis to get $1 US. How on earth can anybody argue or say that this represents recovery? The exchange rate is getting worse and worse by the day. Today it is 15, tomorrow it is 15.5. You go there the following week, it is 16. Not too long ago, it rose to 17. It went all the way up to 17.2, 17.4, 17.5. It came down again marginally. It is going up again. How can businesses plan in such an unstable monetary environment, monetary economic environment? How can businesses plan when inflation is increasing and has been on this increasing trajectory in the last 2 months? Put the exchange rate aside and the damage it is doing to the capital of businesses and livelihoods in general, the hardships and suffering it is imposing on Ghanaians. Put that aside. Look at our debt situation. As we speak, Ghana is still a bankrupt nation.
Why?
We are still a bankrupt nation because we have not suspended the DEP and the external debt restructuring we are doing.
I don't understand what you're saying.
Look, what I mean is that as we speak, we are still in a state where debt obligations owed us have been suspended. That's what I mean. So those who have invested in government bonds, who are supposed to be paid their monies today, cannot have access to their monies.
We're paying them.
No, they have been told what they are being paid is not what they ought to be paid.
Yeah, but that's the agreement.
But that agreement signifies one thing. The reason for that agreement is because we are bankrupt. If today...
No, we were bankrupt.
Okay.
And that is why...
We did that.
We did that.
And so long
by
as...
doing that,
yes,
we have been forgiven like some 12 billion.
Yes.
And over. And then
$12 billion.
12 billion, I think.
Yes.
And then there is a rescheduling
yes.
of quite a lot of payments.
And I'm saying...
So, as we speak,
yeah,
we have moved from a bankrupt one, where we are unable to pay our debts, to a situation where we can manage.
No, let me burst your bubble. Number one, even with all that, and I don't think we've been forgiven $12 billion. I think we have expropriated $12 billion from people who have invested in government bonds. That's what we have done.
I will not argue.
Exactly. But Doc, the most important thing is that, number one, even with that, debt to GDP is still above the acceptable threshold. Even with that. That is why if you look at the IMF program, they only project that our debt to GDP ratio, which is one of the indicators of how sustainable the debt position of every nation is, they project that we will get to that level somewhere around 2026, 2028. Because as we speak, debt to GDP is still above 70%. And that cannot be sustainable. When John Mahama was leaving office, debt to GDP was 56%. And even that, they said, we're borrowing too much. So if you have, after expropriating $12 billion, your debt to GDP ratio is still above 70%, then where is the recovery? And look, even aside that, my point is, so long as debt restructuring is still in force, it's not as though after expropriating the $12 billion of people had earned monies, lifetime savings, we have suddenly become solvent and we are now paying our debt obligations. It's not like that. So still, we are not out of the woods. Our debt position is still bad. You understand? Yeah, the last time when I was here, I was talking about interest rates, and my colleague on the other side was disputing it. I later found that today, the lending rate for certain facilities is 33, 35, 36%. And the president is talking about recovery. Recovery when unemployment is on the rise. So what is he measuring it with? Trade surplus. What is trade surplus? So we get more oil today or as a result of the work done by the previous government, which has added 2 additional oil fields to the one that the NDC got from President Kufuor. You have 10 Sankofa fields, even though you have managed to reduce production volumes by 32% as a result of your bad policies for the upstream sector and the hostilities you've meted out to players in that sector. Yet, oil production is higher than it was 8 years ago because there was a president once upon a time called John Mahama who decided to invest in a hydrocarbon asset and give us 2 additional oil fields. So if you export more than you import and you get a surplus, how is that an achievement? We didn't start getting that surplus today. Once oil production went up astronomically in 2017, the oil and gas sector grew by 84% on account of the work John Mahama and the NDC had done. Nobody disproves that. The IMF, the World Bank, the EIU, they all concede that. Okay. How is that surplus a sign of recovery? Because this is not the first time we are having that surplus. And it is not a new phenomenon, number one. And it is also not as a result of anything this government has done. It is not attributable to any policy of this government. How is that a sign of recovery? In any case, how does that translate into improved livelihoods for the ordinary Ghanaian, who today has to buy 1 ball of kenke in Accra at 5 cedis? Because the jacket around the kenke is bigger than the kenke. You understand? The Ghanaian who has to buy 7 Ghana cedis kenke today, and after eating it, he still feels like he has not eaten. You are saying that person is seeing a sign of recovery? So, hold on. So my point is, so long as the rate of unemployment is not getting better, the rate of inflation is not getting better, the debt position of Ghana is still in a bad state, the exchange rate is getting worse by the day, and businesses cannot plan, businesses are collapsing as a result of that, so long as the tax burden imposed, the high tax burden, I must say, imposed on suffering Ghanaians and businesses by this government has not reduced, you can't say the economy is seeing any recovery. If anybody is seeing any recovery, then it is the people who are enjoying the largesse of government. Akufo-Addo, who his daughters, are benefiting from the largesse of state through $34 million ambulance deals. You can say you are seeing signs of recovery. You understand? But certainly not the ordinary Ghanaian who is struggling to make ends meet this morning. Those nurses who have been through school for years are waiting posting. The professional allied workers listening to me today, they completed school, some of them 5 years, 4 years, 3 years ago. They don't have any jobs. And then you are talking about recovery. No, I don't see any recovery. Things are only getting worse. And the Ghanaian is discerning, the Ghanaian knows that. The one who goes to the market feels that if you go to the market today, prices are going up. There is nothing indicating a recovery, but rather a worsening of our livelihoods. And that is why I know that majority of the Ghanaian electorate will kick out this failed, this insensitive and corrupt Akufo-Addo Bawumia NPP government on 7 December.
Okay. Well, what I can say is Sami has spoken. One thing holds: the glass is either full or half empty for all of us, and he's given his perception. But let me point out a few things. I have always been of the belief that Ghana's true GDP has never really been appreciated.
Explain that.
What I mean is that Ghana's actual GDP, I believe, is higher than what is recorded. And I say this based on my small experience with the likes of Magazine, the likes of Makola, and the likes of Abu Sokai. Because I believe that businesses that run through these locations are heavy dollars, which unfortunately Ghana government doesn't capture very well in our GDP. So non-oil revenues in this country, because of some practices of ordinary Ghanaians in terms of understatement for tax evasion reasons, are much higher. And on that note, I posit to say that Ghana's true debt to GDP is actually not as we have it. Now, I also need to make a case that no matter what, you don't look at debt without looking at the actuals in terms of what it's been used for. And I need to make a strong case that one of the most painful investments is human capital investment, because you cannot really quantify it in dollar terms when you pour so much into education than any government has done in this republic of ours. And that one is a fact. And I think I don't need Dr. Educhum to come and tell even Sami Jemfi that, hey, Sami, you cannot dispute that Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo has invested in human capital more than any president. And I must say this categorically, more than President Kufuor, who I respect, more than Dr. Kwame Nkrumah, who I also respect, more than J.J. Rollins, more than Atta Mills, who I also respect. And humbly, I'll make this case that Mahama's 4 years does not match Nana Addo's first term in terms of human capital investment. Now, Sami maybe has forgotten one thing. Mahama stripped medical practitioners of the opportunity of doing further studies in terms of, stipends for graduate medical people. And this cut across in many domains of this country's educational system, where student loans, student facilities to help people add on value to what they know were taken away. It took this president to bring these things back, because I like one thing about Nana Addo. He believes that both capital expenditure and human capital has to go in sync. The buildings do not treat patients. It is the people in those buildings that treat the patients. And I must say, when you have that idea and you marry it, your output is much better. And I must admit that the NPP government has, I think, attempted, in all honesty, to ensure that both infrastructural development and the human capital development are carried along almost equal. But I must admit that even within the NPP, there are many who still are not entirely happy about the quantums of money which they think should have been used on roads, but was used on, let me say, free SHS. And I must say that even with that, many now appreciate the fact that there'll be fewer people calling cattle crossing as chop bars in this country. And I say this with the greatest respect of taxi drivers, auto drivers, and I want to make an argument today that because of free SHS, our accident rates in the future will reduce, because we'll have more drivers who can read road signs. And these are things that once you have drivers who can read road signs, your chances of reducing accidents are more. This one, you can't dispute it. Where, we had a case of you ask drivers, cattle crossing, and then they say there's a choba. That is serious. And you see, I always say this, that in a few years, I'm sure Sammy Gyamfi may be looking at a doctor who is a beneficiary of free SHS. And I say this because all of us, as we age, we need to visit a health facility. Sammy Gyamfi might go to a barbering shop, and the barber may be a beneficiary of free SHS. And today, your haircut, I must say, is nice. Even considering the economic indicators that you've spoken about, he's looking good and enjoying life. Now, Ghana is resilient, and I must commend the average Ghanaian. The average businessman in Ghana, tough skin. To do business in Ghana is not easy. And I think that I must say one key thing, that the change in finance ministry, Dr. Amin is very focused on small businesses and small enterprise. And I think that shift in focusing on empowering small businesses is a huge game changer. And we will see in a few months to come how that really benefits the downtrodden. Because when small businesses can employ, then you make gains in youth employment. And I think that currently, today on my way here, I had a talk with Dr. Kuma Abuaje, just to have a feel for the midwives they are hiring, the enrolled nurses they are hiring, the community nurses they are hiring. And in fact, he assured me that by the time they are done, the number of nurses who are at home will certainly reduce.
By the time they are done when?
Well, I think we're looking at in about a week from now. And I must say that any enrollment done lessens the burden of the average Ghanaian, because we all have nurses in our houses that have been waiting for posting. And I must admit, post-COVID, many countries have suffered in terms of their healthcare systems. And Ghana is, whether we had a smaller impact of COVID or not, we still have been affected by post-COVID, because I must admit, the Brits have certainly, taken quite a good number of our health workers to beef up theirs post-COVID. And whether we like it or not, the migration of health practitioners in this country has an impact on all of us. So I must say that this is one certainly avenue for employing youth, and that reduces the unemployment rate, positively. Now, the thing we all have to admit, yes, there's been inflation, but a year ago, you'd go to a shop in the morning to buy fan, and by midday or in the evening, the same fan price would have changed. Or, shall I say, television. But we all have to admit that that rate of change over the past 6-8 months has not been the case. And that the rate of inflation or the stabilization of the, cedi has been much better than what we were experiencing about 12 months ago. And I believe that if the President, Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, is saying that we are on a path to recovery, certainly if we are not worsening those price index changes, as we were experiencing 12 months ago, I think that the positives must be talked about. And we cannot discount, and let me add that the debt forgiveness that we experience in Ghana from some of our foreign donors should not be brushed aside. It is heavy, and it is a very important component of bankruptcy proceedings, where you get some forgiveness and then you forestall your payments over, a period. And the key question is, would the NDC have done anything different if they were supposed to manage the indebtedness? I'm not going to go necessarily into the how we got here in terms of indebtedness, in terms of, the challenges. But my point is that let's commend government for the debt management, because I think it's very remarkable in terms of how we springboard.
How
Now, what I'm saying is that to negotiate debt forgiveness is not a joke. If we're saddled with the over $4 billion, which was, I believe, cancelled and not, as he said, shared amongst, people, we cannot discount that. And I think that, these are very positives in terms of our economic turnarounds. And that has to be certainly, I was on this show talking about it about 4 months ago when the forgiveness happened. And I must say, if you manage funds and you are forgiving $4 billion plus, it is not a joke. Dollars, not cedis. $4 billion is not a joke. Now, I must admit that in all fairness, our pension funds management has suffered. I must admit, and I think Finance Minister from Karaga has made this very sobering statement in almost many of his discussions, that we all would have wished that that was not the case. And we've been consistently pleading for people to bear with the current arrangement as it is. And I believe that there is certainly hope in the next foreseeable 6 months or beyond if we maintain the current program that we have in this country. Now, before I move on, let me say that yesterday...
Oh, you're not done.
I think you spoke
go on.
Quite a bit, and I was very patient listening to your voice. The President did 2 programs that were remarkable. I think, fortunately for you, the building is a walking distance from here, the new Bank of Ghana's building. Very plush, by the way. I think maybe...
Has it been completed?
Is soon to be. But I think that one day I would love to, take a walk in that fantastic facility.
You want me to take a walk?
No, I said
okay.
It'll probably be as close as I can get to heavy money, if you understand what I mean. But I think it's a plush building, and I believe that the President stated one thing, that it should serve as a symbol of Ghana's commitment to financial institutions and to strengthen our financial capabilities in this country. And I think that is as it is. This is not the President saying, things that are inframa, as Sami was alluding to. These are very important statements that strengthens financial markets in this country. And I think that all of us owe it to Ghana to say things that would strengthen our financial markets and boost investor confidence. And I think that, listen, whether you're in opposition or not, ensuring that investor confidence is strong is in all of us our interest. Whether the NDC wins next election or not, I believe that they stand on better grounds if investors are happy with Ghana. And I believe that with the greatest of respect, investors' confidence in Ghana compared to 12 months ago is much better now. And I must admit on Metro TV that I was of the opinion that the change in finance ministry in terms of the current leadership has also contributed positively to the market's response to that change, because when the market loses confidence in somebody and you make that remarkable change, it boosts investor confidence. And that's what we're seeing now. A lot of people are more comfortable working with Ghana because of the finance ministry leadership change. And I believe that that was also another very positive thing for this country. Moving forward, elections is December 7th. If we were talking of hope and a fresh cabinet, you know, people would say, Mahama, I know, we know what he's made of. We've seen all that was in him. And I believe that, you know, you can't necessarily teach an old dog new tricks. These are hard proverbial words that I came to meet in this world. And it will be very difficult for Sami to convince me that the Mahama 2.0 is going to be different from what we knew where we were under the dark clouds of Doomsor. Or shall I say, you know, one of the low points of President Mahama was when he said if you brandish anything, he does not respond. He's a non-responsive government. And I think that those were some of the lows that really didn't make me happy. But be it as it may, if we can teach old dogs new tricks, you know, that will be the NDC's work to do. But I can say categorically that I am very clear in my mind that the cabinet of Dr. Bawumia certainly will be a departure from what we have now. And I can say this because of the team that I see him, you know, surrounded with, and the way he does his things. Certainly, I've looked at Alexander the Great and what he did very different from his father. And let's be mindful of the fact that Alexander the Great's father was also a very mighty warrior, except for the fact that the son outdid his father. And I'm very believing that Dr. Bawumia will outdo Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo on any day if given the chance. And I would beg of Ghanaians to give Dr. Bawumia that opportunity to show us what is in him. And I've worked and underworked under people. Even Sami can admit on TV today, if he will be very, you know, transparent and truthful, that minister to deputy minister, SAF, sometimes, or most times, deputy ministers can't even sign one document. And this is the reality. I remember Spio Gabra would leave the country and it would be Hannah Tete taking over his ministry. None of his deputies were allowed to, you know, carry the day. And this, unfortunately, is one of the realities in this country where, you know, people get by not allowing you know, their deputies to function fully. But at any rate, I am of the opinion that if we're talking about real hope, not Hope City, but real hope, then fresh ideas are abound in the campaign message of Dr. Bawumia, more so than in the NDC. Granted, is a good party. I mean, you know, I'm not here to discount the second strongest party in this country. I have a lot of respect for my opponents, and I do that. But I also feel that there are more ideas within the MPP, and we can execute more. And one of our problems as a party, the MPP, has been the vast or varied amount of ideas that we have. And borrowing from my former Minister for Local Government, who I'm very much well pleased in, the Okre MP, who's retiring from MPship, and our former General Secretary, he says that he's not happy with the NDC because they've been in opposition for 8 years and they are literally empty in terms of, policies that will certainly impact the ordinary Ghanaians. And then I borrow from his own words that they are bereft of very powerful social interventions. And the MPP, which, quote unquote, is not necessarily a socialist party, rather has on board huge social interventions. I wept when I saw a man talk about the fact that he was not the brightest in school, but because his father had money, he was able to continue secondary school education. And the fact that today, those narratives have changed. And now, those who have not can also benefit from good education. And when you hear these stories, it is remarkable. And yes, at Yema Erefre, but certainly we all have stories of people who were very sharp but could not continue because parents could not afford. And I think that when Sami says only a select few, then I don't know if the over 1 million boys and girls who have also benefited from SHS are, quote unquote, part of the select few, or the YEA many modules of police support services, fire service support services, and to just name a few, who are also getting paid on a regular to support the security services are the select few, or the many nurses and doctors who have been employed are the select few, and the teachers who are getting allowances which the NDC took away are the select few. I mean, these are, when he spoke about the select few, these were the things that were raging to my mind. And to say the least, my very best friend, Cozy, she's done fantastic. In fact, I haven't, been at any of their meetings recently, but I've had testimonies of tabletop businesses who have been empowered just in the recent 3 weeks, from the likes of about 4,000 Ghana cedis to 10,000 to 20,000. And I believe that these small investments for somebody selling tomatoes, somebody doing salt sales, are a very monumental change in their lives. And by virtue of some of these social interventions, through COSI, the GEA, Ghana Enterprise Agency, fantastic job. And I would hope that Sami would lend himself the opportunity to look at the documentaries from GEA, and the fact that it was so fairly done that, quote unquote, it had no colors except red, gold, and green, with a black star in. So I believe that, life is about perception and glasses. Today I don't have my glasses on, but the lens through which Sami Gyamfi is looking at Ghana, he needs to change it and look at it in a very holistic way. And he knows that the MPP does better for Ghana, regardless of our current challenges. The MPP is a better pair of hands for Ghana. I rest my submission.
All right, we'll be back shortly.
There's nothing worse than your multi-bet missing, but nothing better than having it saved. BetSaver.
Good business means seeing the possibilities and maximizing opportunities. Making sure you have a responsive support system backs your business goals. A partner that gives you a stable platform with reliable connectivity and seamless solutions, and better understands the tools required to take you to the next level. With so many moving parts in running a business, we do our best to provide you with some stability. The only kind of stability you can find with MTN Business Broadband, the fastest and most reliable internet provider in Ghana, making sure you stay ahead and stay connected, because we understand what makes your business tick.
Sign up today on broadband.mtn.com.gh or call or WhatsApp 0244 308 111.
MTN.
Enyanum ni adofono pacho mini fatao wachi raba no wachi raba and metima gina kase enam MPP abanti metima frame ho mining engineer enye se mfiti ya na mebeye mining engineer enam adwuma MPP aban aye ene omo free education policy a omo de bae wachi raba mini ani da so ba bia se metima wie junior high school atwas for SHS. Me junior high school na that same particular year. Nyankopon adom ana Ghana for ye to abama MPP aban e mo de omo free education policy e baaye. Omo de baaye ma me nya chance e de call one of the best schools in Ghana, St. Augustine's College. And I'm a proud alumnus of St. Augustine's College. Na and that bijina hanoma me mama no papa no enyanum ni ado from Ghana for na me sada me say me pamochao say this year eba December 7th monto aba ema Dr. Baumia na obi wo baabi obi wa kurasi baabi oni ne de aso te semia ne mama ton wa che te se de mama ton wa che na obi wo baabi ne mama ni adwuma ne papa ni adwuma obi wo baabi ne papa afrim ne mama afrim oni ne de aso baabi a monfa monsa kokromoti enko team number 1 Emma Dr. Baumia na omwa Ghana for onkra won baabi a omuni ani da so baabi a
esoro ho.
Experience the enhanced protection of Star Motor Third Party Extra from Star Assurance, an enhanced motor third party insurance policy that provides cover for loss or damage to your vehicle's windscreens, side mirrors, back glass, and other glass components. Whether it's a crack or major damage, you can drive with the assurance that your vehicle is well protected. Our commitment to you includes affordable coverage options and a claims process that is both fast and straightforward, so you spend less time dealing with paperwork and more time on the road. Also, we have proudly partnered with Hope for Little Lives, an organization dedicated to supporting children in need. By choosing Star Motor Third Party Extra, you're protecting your vehicle and making a positive impact. Every policy you buy helps bring joy and support to children in underserved communities. Reach out to us now on our toll-free numbers 0800-177-177 or 0302-245-906 to sign up. Let us help you drive with peace of mind and purpose. Star Motor Third Party Extra. Drive with confidence, give back with heart.
Star Assurance, your solid partner.
Fellow countrymen and women, the desperate NPP, realizing that they are losing the 2024 elections, has once again resorted to lies to smear the nation builder, His Excellency John Dramani Mahama. The NPP's claim that Mahama was against free SHS and will cancel it when elected is nothing but a barefaced lie calculated to deceive you. John Mahama started the implementation of the progressively free SHS program in 2015 with day students and had a clear plan to expand the program to cover borders, hence cannot be said to be against free SHS. What he has been against is the poor implementation of the program. Contrary to the lies of the NPP, the next NDC Mahama government will improve the implementation of the free SHS program to make it better. We We will do this by scrapping the double track system, provide a dedicated source of funding for the program, include private SHS, improve the feeding of our children, and enhance the quality of learning outcomes. Listen to the truth from the horse's own mouth.
Free senior high school education has come to stay. If anybody tells you that I, John Dramani Mahama, son of E.A. Mahama, will abolish free SHS when I come, tell the person he's a bloody liar. What I'm against is the poor implementation of the free SHS, which is creating great inconvenience for the parents, for the students, and for the teachers. And one of the things we'll do when we come back into office, and I know inshallah we're coming back into office, is to complete the 200 community day schools that we began, so that we can bring a quick end to the double track system.
Beware of the NPP's lies. Vote for change. Vote for John Mahama and the NDC.
Using Koa Mixture, Koa Plus Mixture, and Koa MT Mixture, brought to you by Koa Research and Manufacturing Limited Company, proudly made in Ghana. Formulated to support your general well-being. For those seeking immune system support, there is Koa Plus Mixture. Support your body's defenses and stay strong. When it comes to combating malaria, Koa MT Mixture will aid your treatments. For effective relief from malaria symptoms, try Koa MT Mixture. Koa Mixture, Koa Plus Mixture, and Koa MT Mixture are not recommended for pregnant women, lactating mothers, and children under 12 years. Always take a malaria test before using Koa MT Mixture. Choose Koa Mixture, Koa Plus Mixture, and Koa MT Mixture for your health needs. Available now at pharmacies nationwide. For bulk purchases, contact 0244 726611 or 0591 565 778. This advert is
anti-cavity, gum protection, brighter teeth, and fresh breath.
I'm a fair missy way.
Prepare bantama.
Machasi.
That's a cycle.
It's her smile. The fresh breath.
Me Jidi say we use Kel 360 toothpaste. Some kind. Kel 360 toothpaste.
Guys, Kia. Kel 360 toothpaste. It's a gum protector.
Onim jom kasan. Ile kosan. Kel 360 did the way. It's cool mint. Gives me fresh breath and your confidence booster.
You will see so feeling to when you know Kel 360 toothpaste.
Happy smile.
Kel 360 toothpaste, anti-cavity, gum protection, brighter teeth, and fresh breath. Kel, happy smile. This advert is FDA approved.
Over the past 7 years, Ghana has witnessed remarkable progress and transformation under the NPP. From education, job creation, infrastructure, and healthcare, they have paved the way for a brighter future. Free SHS has given every child the opportunity to pursue their dreams. Major infrastructure projects have connected our communities, improved healthcare services, have enhanced the well-being of our citizens, and more jobs are being created through 1D1F.
With better roads, I can transport my goods easily and reach more customers. NPP has truly made a difference in my life, and I want them to continue with their bold solutions.
With the NPP support for tech and innovation, my business has thrived. I believe they have a vision to lead us into the next chapter.
The improvements in our healthcare system have saved many lives.
Thanks to free SHS, I completed secondary school without worrying about school fees. I believe in the NPP's vision for the future, and I want them to lead the next chapter.
Join us in writing the next chapter of Ghana's success story. The NPP's bold solutions will lead us to a brighter future.
Vote number 1 on the ballot.
Hey, what's up?
How far with your internship?
To be honest, I'm so nervous about starting this new role on Monday.
Oh please, I know you'll be great at it. You should be worried about what benefits they have. Example, do they have health insurance?
I doubt they will have that for interns. But no shaking. I have NHIS already.
After you are on a line, ting.
Hey now, look at you. What are you going to do in your office when you can just download their app to register for an NHIS membership?
Yes, my people, you heard right.
You can now download and register your membership on my NHIS app. No long queues or tedious paperwork. All you need is your Ghana card to register for yourself and for others. Once you register, you get a new digital NHIS card on your phone. My NHIS app gives you access to credentialed health facilities and services across the country. NHIS covers over 95% of disease conditions in Ghana. Access to healthcare just got easier.
Now let me sign up quickly. Please, Seth, I'm starting work next month.
Imagine a Ghana where your dreams are not defined by the tribe you're from, and your job is not decided by the party you support, but by the strength of our nation and the promise it holds. A Ghana where opportunity is equally based on every faith, every region, every district and every constituency. Where true unity exists and diversity is our power. A Ghana where all 16 regions are activated with industries, development and purpose to yield economic prosperity. And picture leadership that is not bound by party rules, but by the needs of the people. A government that is decided by the voice of the people. This is the vision of Nana Kwame Bediako and the New Force. We stand for everyone, for the youth, the women, men and the elderly. So when you step into that polling booth on December 7th, vote for Nana Kwame Bediako, number 12 on the ballot, with the 12 pillars under the apostolic governance, the 12 ministries, New Force, and Nida Swaba.
The luckiest.
Star 712 hash.
Luck is everywhere.
8K. Hey, you get an 8K. Get a packing so you have to one lie. Hey, wait. You go put it on his tab. This is my man. Good luck. Hey, Bill Radio. We are star 712. It's much more phone. I'm on dialing the magic numbers. Star 712. Now welcome to the luckiest. And now with me at home ticket. You can buy for yourself or your loved one. Mommy, tell mommy who's here.
You're buying for me, right?
Or who else?
Let's
choose buy tickets for others.
Love you, boo boo.
Maybe straight to option 4. Now you need to buy tickets worth 50 Ghana to qualify. Yes, you can buy random or preferred tickets. I'm choosing random ticket. Listen, if you buy the random ticket, the system chooses a random number for you. But if you buy the preferred, you get to input your own preferred 5 digits. 5. Baby, give me your 5 numbers. And how much are we buying?
Babe, look at the body and buy you.
With your body,
Hey,
there, tread cautiously. Now follow the prompts and confirm. Now the luckiest.
The luckiest is regulated by the NLA on the Caritas platform, not for persons below 18 years. TNCs apply.
The NDC and the MPP are not the same. They are the same. Masa, they are not the same. They are the same.
Nilante, tell us why you think they are not the same. Because me, dear, I don't see any difference between the two parties.
Yaba, 1. Under John Mahama, every penny borrowed was used for productive investment like the Terminal 3, Accra Digital Center, Kejetia Market, Circle Dubai Interchange, just to mention a few. But these Osunu people borrow money, throw kenke and wache parties, use the money to bath in the sky, and construct the most expensive swimming pool in the world in the name of a national cathedral. Tell me, is God a swimmer? 2. Under John Dramani Mahama, those who lend money to the government in the form of bonds could sleep peacefully, knowing that the government will pay them. Under the NPP, the government will take your money, chop it, and give you a haircut on top. Under John Dramani Mahama, no minister or MP could dare go close to our water bodies or forests to do galamsey. Today, look at our water bodies and forests. These MPP people have destroyed all our water bodies and forests through galamsey. I will not be surprised if we find a galamsey pit in the Jubilee House. How can you tell me that the NDC and the MPP are the same?
Boss, you talk something, pal.
They are not the same.
They are never the same.
We have to vote wisely.
Vote for change. Vote for John Mahama and the NDC.
There's nothing worse than your multi-bet missing, but nothing better than having it saved. BetSaver.
Right, welcome back to the show. If you just joined us, this is Good Morning Ghana live on Metro TV. Still with me on the show, I have Dr. Dixon Adumako Kisi and also Sammy Jamfi. But you've all been there and you've placed the perfect multi-bet and it's all going your way until it's not, and one or more picks let you down. Well, with Betway's Bet Saver feature, you can win even if your bet misses. Even on multiple losses, you can get your bet back and more. Bet Saver is exclusive to Betway. Get way more. Terms and conditions apply. This is regulated by the Gaming Commission of Ghana. Bet the responsible way. Betway, get way more. On the 2024 annual Thanksgiving service of the Jospon Group of Companies takes place from Monday, November 25 to Friday, November 29 at the forecourt of Zoom Lion Ghana Limited, Niger, Ashale Boche, Accra, under the theme Jesus Christ is More Than Enough, taken from Luke 19:8 and Hebrews 12:2. The Thanksgiving services are being held in all 261 districts across Ghana and 10 designated centers in Accra. Join us to thank God for His message throughout the year at the Zoom Lion head office or any of the 10 designated centers in Accra. Indeed, Jesus Christ is more than enough. Sorry?
My good brother, completely deviated from the topic under discussion, which is the President's assertion that the economy is showing signs of recovery. Something he's been saying in the last 2 years. And he decided to go into issues of free SHS, and Bawumia was not allowed to work, and he's been treated like deputy ministers are treated, and the Bank of Ghana building, he would like to go and walk in there. And all. What has that got to do with the topic at stake? You understand? You see, when you dance around issues like this, those watching go away with one conclusion, that you are not ready to address an important issue such as this, which border on their livelihoods and welfare. The economy is of utmost importance to the Ghanaian. So we were expecting you to show us the basis. No, hold on. You know, when you were speaking, I didn't have time.
But you're misrepresenting
and you know,
what I
you
said.
are one of the few people in the NPP that I really respect and like.
I
admire you personally. So please, I beg you, don't heckle me today. So, I didn't know what you were even talking about, because we are talking about the economy here. Are we seeing signs of recovery relative to the inflation rate, which has been on an upward trajectory in the last 2 months? Are we seeing any sign of recovery relative to the exchange rate, which has become very unstable in recent time and which has been increasing? Here I'm talking about the dollar rate, the safer rate, and so on. Look, in 2016, one needed just about 6,000 cedis to get 1 million safer. Today, you need almost 30,000 cedis to get that same 1 million safer. Think about what this is doing to the capital of our mothers who go to Togo, Burkina, Cote d'Ivoire, and other francophone countries to bring in goods. Those who go to bring in rice and oil and all that. Think about that. You understand? We are talking about a very important issue, jobs. Are we seeing any sign of recovery in the area of unemployment? No. The government is totally clueless about addressing the ever-worsening canker of unemployment. And those watching us this morning want to know what specifically this government has done to improve the rate of unemployment in the country, for which reason you are saying that the economy is showing signs of recovery. One of the things affecting businesses today is the issue of high tax payments. The taxes are just too much. Have we seen any recovery, any improvement? No. Today, Big Pen has left Ghana. Lipton Tea has left Ghana. Unilever's tea production facility, they have relocated from Ghana. Nivea cream, they've left. Dark and Lovely cream, they've left. Jumia Foods, they've left. Glovo, left. And they are not going to America. They are leaving to Nigeria. They are leaving to next door Cote d'Ivoire, Togo, and so on. Because the business climate in Ghana is so toxic and hostile. That is what we are talking about here. The bread and butter issues. It's not about whether you want to, your aspiration in life is to walk in the plush, as you put it, Bank of Ghana new headquarters. What has that got to do with suffering Ghanaians? And young people who are living in a state of hopelessness because there is no job for them. And because the duty bearers of this nation simply don't care about them. So please, this deviation of yours, I know was a convenient deviation because I know how you speak, especially on Good Morning Ghana. You deliberately and conveniently decided to deviate from the topic because you know that what the president said is false. And you know that the Ghanaian is worse off today than he was 8 years ago. Look, what even surprised me was when, Honorable Dixon said, you can't talk about the debt of a nation without looking at what the money has been invested into, and this government has invested in free SHS, is invested in human capital than any government. Please, I beg you. I beg you. You are a gentleman true and true. And you must leave it to the Ahiagbes and the Miracle Abuaje and these people.
That's
okay, I withdraw it.
Yes.
But the point is that borrowed funds have not been used to fund free SHS. So if you are talking about debt, then don't bring in free SHS. Borrowed funds, because you see, the argument you made was that we should not discount what the borrowed funds have been used for. And then you went on and on about free SHS. But the monies you have borrowed
human capital
have not been invested in free SHS. On human capital, the main thing you spoke about was free SHS. I beg you.
Doctor.
So let's be honest to the viewers. I beg you. Then, even with the free SHS, you cannot say that this government has invested in human capital than any government in history. By what matrix? Human capital is not just free SHS. No. Human capital is not just free SHS. Education is even just one subset of human capital. There is health. Look, let's even focus on education. Is education all about SHS? Basic.
TVET.
For a government like yours, the Kufuor NPP government, which has failed to provide basic textbooks for basic schools, almost 6 years after the introduction of a new curriculum, you cannot be boasting about investing in human capital. Because that is the foundation of human capital development, basic education. You have neglected basic education. When we were leaving office, we had significantly reduced schools under trees. Today, schools under trees has more than tripled. You are not investing even in school buildings. You are not investing in common textbooks. Capitation grant has been in arrears for over 6 terms. And you are here talking about, you are boasting about human capital, the basic, which is the foundation and the fulcrum of education in Ghana. You've neglected it. Even with free SHS, secondary education is not just about paying school fees. If you pay the school fees of my ward for me, and you feed that ward with expired contaminated food, what have you done? Expired contaminated food. And this is something that the evidence is there, incontrovertible, open and shut. Today, go to the secondary schools. Accommodation is still a major challenge. Dining halls, still a major challenge. In some schools, the children are running shifts, even with double track. They are running shifts in the dining halls. They go to the dining halls and all they have is Lipton, no bread, and 1 cube of sugar. Watch the documentary done by Joy News and look at the food our children are being fed with. These days, when your child returns from SHS and comes home, if you don't take care, you won't recognize him. Because they are not even fed well. Where to sleep in many schools is a problem. The water to drink is a problem. Because you have centralized even food procurement in Accra, depriving the schools of timely release of funds. And most of them are on their knees. Instead of you to give them the money to buy the food from their communities to boost the local economies. Because in every constituency, you are an MP, you know, there is Gary, there is Kenke, there is tomatoes, there is rice. You can give the monies to the bears to buy the food from there. But no, party Hiesika, the party women organizers must eat. So you have centralized it at Accra, at the Buffer Stock Company, and they are giving contracts to your women organizers to supply the food. And you don't even pay them. So they also delay in releasing the food. So the food situation is bad. The facilities, the infrastructure deficit is huge. This double track thing has distorted our secondary education system. Today, you have a child going to school for 3 weeks, and they come to stay at home for 1 month. Or your bar with you. That is what is happening. You are an MP, you know. And when they are home, parents have to cough money to pay for vacation classes. Do you know the cost of that? You understand? So don't lecture us about how you are the best government that has invested in human capital. Go to the tertiary institutions and see. Today, there is a crisis. The media has to focus on that. An accommodation crisis across tertiary institutions in Ghana. Do you know how much they pay for a hostel? 1-room hostel. When you are even sharing it with other roommates. Go and check the price. What is the government doing about that? So education is not about... In any case, Doc, before free SHS was started in 2015 by Mahama, children who completed BEC...
I didn't hear something.
Read paragraph 781 of the 2017 budget.
Of all the things you
Hold on. Read paragraph 781 of the 2017 budget of your own government.
Oh, okay.
Akufo-Addo's budget, read to Parliament by Ken Ofori-Atta. He tells you that John Mahama started free SHS in 2015. Your own budget. Ken Ofori-Atta said it. He came to Parliament before you and you approved it.
Wow.
And that 362,000 students benefited, day students.
You know.
And if you read paragraph 109, I'm giving you my references.
Something you didn't like.
I beg you.
Wow.
It is not true that we that wrote the constitution, when you boycotted it and captured free SHS at Article 25, 1B, we didn't like free SHS. You the one who boycotted the constitution.
NDC discovered oil in Ghana too.
Let me make my point.
I think NDC discovered oil.
If you check paragraph 109 of the 2016 media budget, it is there that beyond even the 360,000 day students who benefited from the progressively free SHS in 2015-2016 academic year, we also provided for 120,000 borders who we gave bursaries for the 2016-2017 academic year. Anybody watching it, Google it. Paragraph 109 of 2016 media budget. You will even see stories dated August 2016 on that when government launched
the newest truth
for borders.
Newest truth.
Hold on. But even before all this will start, and even before Akufo-Addo will come and make it free for day students and all borders, starting with only first years, because he also did it progressively. First years, before he added second years, before he added third year, over a 3-year period. Even before that, those who were completing BEC, were they all sitting at home? Doc, this thing is common sense. Those graduates from JHS, before anybody even started implementing free SHS, when they completed BEC, were they all sitting at home? They were pursuing secondary education. Some, you can say some could not go because they had a problem of fees. But you cannot put together the total population of all students who have gone through SHS from 2017 till now and say that all these people would have sat home and dropped out but for free SHS. That is the analysis you guys are making.
I haven't done that yet.
Because they have even been quoting a 5.7 million figure as the total number of students who have benefited. Fact Check Ghana has done a story, you can Google it, it's not true. The figure is 3.1. Total enrollment since the implementation of free SHS, 3.1 million, not the 5.7 million by Umia and Aduchum have been speaking about. But that number includes those who would have gone to SHS anyways. Like we all went to SHS when there was no free SHS. So you have to do a certain detailed analysis based on the trends to know the the average increment in enrollment, and then investigate that and say these people ordinarily could not have gone as a result of the cost barrier, but now because of free SHS they are going. They have been able to go through SHS. But it is so simplistic and in fact flawed to put together the total enrollment figure since the implementation of free SHS and say all these people would have ended up on the streets but for free SHS. No.
They are beneficiaries. It's a different word.
Let's put that aside. And in terms of human capital, look, what President Mahama did with regards to education from basic, secondary, tertiary, you come nowhere near it. You come nowhere. The monies we invested in eradicating schools under trees right from the Mills era. The monies we invested in building 2 universities and starting 1 more. 3. We are talking about UHAS. We are talking about UNE in Suryane. And by the time we're leaving office, we had even secured money for the Eastern Region 1. The one at Somenya. The University of Environment and Sustainable Development.
Fantastic.
Okay? The secondary schools we built, the E-blocks, we started 123. Fully operationalized, 46. Other completed buildings, about 27.
And
that is unprecedented.
And we've done more than that.
You've done what? How many schools have you built?
We've finished many more E-blocks.
So completed, yes. So just say you came and completed what President Mahama, but you have abandoned many in the bush too. Go to Samre Boy. I have been traveling across the country.
Wrongfully placed.
Themselves will tell you.
Wrongfully placed.
And that argument is what you
we'll
should
come
not
to Get Fund and what they've done
Look,
for Ghana.
Honorable.
I was just going to talk about Get Fund.
You are a very objective person.
Yes,
that
I'll talk about only Get Fund.
You should not even make that
only
argument.
Get Fund.
I beg you.
We'll go there.
I want to finish fast.
You have taken me there. We'll go there.
Yeah, sure. I'm happy for us to go there. But that argument
we'll go to just Get Fund though. I'm not even going to add others. Just Get Fund.
I beg you. I know. We'll go there. I'm saying that argument about location, don't even join in that.
Go to Get
because
Fund. STEM schools.
Go and look at the schools in Nkrumah built. Most of them were all built in the outskirts of various towns. That is where schools are built. They are not built in the center of cities and towns. Because when you are building a school, look at the school lands, usually huge. Because they make provision for future population expansion. That is it. So that argument about location, forget. When they built all these schools you are celebrating today, don't you know that they were in bushes, Presec and all these grade 1 schools?
Well,
you know their locations?
Well, added infrastructure.
So hold on. Then
you said we had not added infrastructure.
Then he comes again. He speaks about debt forgiveness. Debt forgiveness is a term of art. It is not the same as debt restructuring.
Okay.
Debt forgiveness.
But it is part of
it's a technical term of art. You understand? Debt forgiveness has to do with a nation owing a debt obligation, and the creditor voluntarily saying that because of this program, we are forgiving you this debt.
X amount.
Debt restructuring is when you have borrowed monies from people, you are supposed to pay them, the time is due for you to pay them, and you go telling them that I can't pay because I misused those borrowed funds. And because I can't pay, allow me, instead of me paying your money now, the coupon, give me 15 years to 20 years. Forgetting that some of these people may even die by that time. So give me this amount of time. And the interest, the coupon that I'm supposed to pay you, I want to give you a haircut. I want to reduce it. And the people don't have a choice. You take it or you leave it. That is a draconian debt restructuring. It is tantamount to expropriating the lifetime savings and investments of people. You can't equate it. And that can never be positive. Do you know what that has done to the image of Ghana? Today, Ghana has become the butt of all jokes in the Committee of Nations. We can't have access to the capital markets because of that. And tomorrow, any future government will face the brunt, the consequences. Because should we even return to the capital market, the coupon rate we will get will be very choking. Then, Doc, to add insult to injury, he now reminds us of the biggest misplaced priority in our country today. The uncompleted Bank of Ghana Square, or they call it the Bank Square. A building that is supposed to be what? Is it 8-story or 9-story or 10-story? You've done about 6-story. It is uncompleted. You assemble everybody there to commission them because you are bereft of developmental projects. You want to just, Akufo-Addo wants to commission something to prove that he has worked. So you are going to commission an uncompleted, misplaced priority. We should clap for you. That means that the economy is showing signs of recovery.
Confidence.
This building you're talking about actually triggers pain in the heart of many Ghanaians. The Bank of Ghana 2 years ago incurred a loss of 60 billion cedis. You know that. Last year, 10.5 billion cedis. Even before that, the Bank of Ghana has been making losses. Under John Mahama, the Bank of Ghana made profit and decided to use the profit to build a hospital, the Bank Hospital, which became a safe haven for you, appointees of this government, when COVID struck. That is what the visionary John Mahama and the Bank of Ghana did in our time. When we were making profit, we were building a hospital. You have been making losses because you've been printing money to finance the corruption and wastefulness of this government. And even at the time you're making huge losses, at the time the bank has signed an MOU with government for government to recapitalize it with our taxes, you have taken $250 million and dumped that into a so-called headquarters building. This is few years after the Bank of Ghana spent $50 million to renovate its existing headquarters. You have renovated your existing headquarters at $50 million. That was not enough. At the time you are making unprecedented losses, at the time Ghanaians are suffering, you have $250 million. You won't invest that in a productive venture, something that can improve the livelihoods of Ghanaians and create jobs, or even pay the people you owe. You are spending that money on a headquarters building, and you are happy. A building that initially was supposed to cost $81 million has now transmogrified into a $250 million building. And we don't even know whether they have exceeded that one too. The whole project is shrouded in opacity and procurement breaches. And this is what you are celebrating, Honorable. This is what you are celebrating.
It's been commissioned.
I leave the judgment to Ghanaians. And very soon, on the 7th of December, Ghanaians will pass their verdict. You guys don't simply get it. That leadership is about serving the people. You must apply the meager resources of state judiciously for the benefit of the people. What benefit will suffering Ghanaians get from this building? What benefit? Already you have wasted about $58 million on that useless hole you call a cathedral. Check the equivalent of $58 million today, more than 1 billion cedis. Imagine what that could have done. People are sitting home, professional allied workers, nurses, teachers, because you say you don't have financial clearance. You waste money like this, and then you say you can't employ people. And you will still come and sit here and say, your dream, your whole aspiration in life is to get an opportunity to work in that building.
When did I say
You said that here. Finally, Doc.
It's on record.
You guys.
I don't remember saying that.
You guys in the NPP, look, you have to be honest and candid with the people of this country and show, excuse my language, some respect to Ghanaians. Every Ghanaian knows that in the history of Ghana, the vice president who has been given the greatest opportunity by his boss is Bawumia. It is so unfair to Ghanaians for you to suggest that Bawumia has been neglected and sidelined, like deputy ministers are sidelined. Bawumia is not a deputy minister.
Hold on. Didn't use so.
No, because that is the context of your argument. That
I never used those words.
You just opposed Bawumia's position to that of a deputy minister and cited Espio Gabra vis-a-vis Hannah Tete and all that. That is not the case. Anytime Akufo-Addo has traveled, a minister has not acted as president. It's Bawumia who acts.
The constitution cannot
so that
allow
Espio Gabra Hannah Tete analogy doesn't apply because Bawumia always acts as president in the absence of Akufo-Addo. Again, this Bawumia has been the chairman of the economic management team. He adored the team and said, what a solid team. And everything that looks like a positive achievement in this government has been credited to him. How can you be approbating and reprobating? Ghana Post GPS, yeah, it is Bawumia. If it is the dollar that is now dancing power logo against the city, oh, that one is not Bawumia. It's who is Akufo-Addo. This hypocrisy will not win you the election. This is what Harris did. Kamala Harris did, and the Americans rejected him. Because Bawumia is part and parcel of this government. He shares in the successes of this government, and he shares in the failings of this government. This attempt to extricate him from responsibility and liability is an exercise in futility. Ghanaians are more discerning. Did you hear that Kronti Hini in Eastern Region speak the last night?
No.
You understand? You cannot say that this man was not given the opportunity. Ghana, Vice President Bain, and then the President had an opportunity to Bawumia. Vice President Bain. Akufo-Addo gave everything economy to Bawumia.
Can I come in now?
So please don't go there. And you see, it is sad that you from the MPP will sit here and say, you quote Damboche and say that we have been in opposition for 8 years. We don't have any policy, we are empty. No, we are empty. At least the young people of this country know what John Mahama stands for in terms of job creation. They know his solution. And that solution is the 24-hour economy policy. I've traveled the length and breadth of Ghana. When you start saying 24, the audience will say our economy. They know it. They understand it. The polls are clear. They know of the Women's Development Bank, which is going to ensure that cheaper credit, affordable, low-interest loans are provided to women to go into business.
It's been done already.
They know of the National Apprenticeship Program.
Repackaged Maslot.
They know of the Jumenrap Program. They know about the farmer service centers we are going to establish, first of its kind. They know of the farm banks. What is your policy for job creation? One policy that your leader Bawumia has announced to create jobs. You don't have one. His policy is Sisifian. Anytime you see Bawumia on the stage, he's dancing offbeat to Owo Sisifianibi. Owo Sisifianibi. That is all. Bawumia doesn't have one policy on job creation. Not even one.
What's TVET doing?
If you see Bawumia on stage, if it is not Sisifian he's dancing to, no, we'll try and he's insulting Ghanaians. Nyamina shira na shimu. Nyamina shira or no Bawumia na share. Why won't he say that? Nyamina shira na share. Why won't he say that? Because today his brother and his brother's wife are enjoying inflated, what the Auditor General describes as inflated, corrupt sole source contracts. We know Resource Access Limited and inflated sole source deals they have benefited from under Cocoa Rose. We know the Sunyani Airport project they did. We know. So Bawumia can say that Nyamia Shirano na share because he will be laughing to the bank after the December 7th election. His brother has made a lot. He's going to enjoy. You understand? Either than that, what policy does he have to better the lives of this country? He is talking about some flat rate tax and some amnesty. What is his job creation initiative? And where is his track record to buttress that?
Thank you.
Because it is under him as chair of ENT that the unemployment rate has increased from about 8% to almost 15%.
Thank you.
Right.
Thank you. Thank you. Yeah. In fact, let me say that he started off misrepresenting me that I was not talking about the economy. But eventually, he veered into the key things I spoke about, which still really are about the economy. So I was not too happy when he was misrepresenting me because I believe that there's one other thing I need to clarify here. Debt forgiveness is still under debt restructuring. I don't know how else to make it very clear, but if you owe 10 billion and 4 billion is forgiven, your total indebtedness has reduced. And it gives you an opportunity to then go and make adjustment for the 6 billion, just by virtue of, the load that you have being reduced by a certain amount. So I need to make that very clear, that we should not discount what has been forgiven. If he won't discount it, that's fine, but I will not discount it. It's a very huge part of debt management. maybe that might be a better word for him to appreciate that restructuring, forgiveness are all very crucial in bankruptcy proceedings. Now, two key things. If we take dollar for dollar, nobody in this country will dispute the fact that Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo's government, I call Nana Addo the Minister of Education, and he should forgive me, and he truly will go down in history as the one president who put in a lot of money towards education. Now, TVET is education, which has been invested in, and in fact, if I talk about the equipment alone, most of the equipments that TVET has provided are equipments that you find in heavily mechanized companies in other jurisdictions. I mean, like the Jiffy Lubes, where you'd go and get your car, oil change and all these things. And I must say that TVET is human capital investment. Now, teachers' allowance, nurses' allowance are also human capital investment. Just to clarify some of the key things, because I lumped it under human capital investment, I tried as much as possible today to restrain myself from using the word free SHS, because I think that we underserve the Ghanaian people when we just focus on free SHS, because in fact, Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo's presidency has been major in terms of investment in education. Now, he said we've not done buildings. I'll just cast my mind to the 9 STEM schools that have been built. My dad is from Abomosu, so I can talk about Abomosu, and I know that students are enrolled there as we sit here today.
I didn't say you're not buildings. I was talking about...
Oh, if you allow me, because I think...
I'm just correcting what your reference was.
Okay,
I was saying that based on what we did, you can't say that what you have done is the best ever in the human history, in the history of Ghana in terms of human capital. That's what I meant.
Well, everybody sees things different. I am here to make a case to Ghanaians that they can check their values, the numbers, and I'm talking numerical. Quantum of monies that Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo's administration has used on education in totality, compared to Mahama's first 4 years. Even we can combine the entire 8 years, including Atta Mills, and they will not match Nana Addo. It's a fact. That one is undisputed. So if you go to Additional College today, where my dad went, I didn't go there, I went to St. Peter's. Additional infrastructure added can be seen, Philly Gadochi. If you go to St. Rose's, if you go to Wegehe, if you go to Presec right here, you see them. If it's not a dormitory, it is a dining hall. And we should not for once say that those additional infrastructures are not there. It is there. So to say that these schools have not been improved and all that is a fallacy. Now, GetFund administrator has been remarkable, and I think that if NDC owes somebody, they need to thank this man under the leadership of Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, because he has continued the E-blocks and he has ensured that over 30 E-blocks have been completed under our regime. And in addition to these 30 E-blocks, we've added one STEM school is about 5 E-blocks. And that is something that the NDC needs to get in their head. One STEM school is about 5 E-blocks. And go and see. Go and see. Look, they are showing the STEM schools.
Yeah, so
and you know what an E-block looks like.
One STEM is show us.
What's
the capacity of a STEM school?
The STEM school capacity is quadruple that of an E-block.
There was it. Because we can Google it.
And you can check it.
Yeah, what's the?
It is. I know it is quadruple.
What's the capacity?
I know it is quadruple.
What's the capacity of an E-block?
And if listen, look at this E-block. Look at it.
You are just using words.
No, look at it. Look at the E-block.
What's the capacity of an E-block?
How many classrooms?
You don't know the capacity.
How many classrooms?
Yes, you're using the word quadruple.
It is quadruple.
That's not sincere.
It is quadruple.
What's the capacity?
In addition to the dormitory. So my key point here is that one STEM school is about 4 E-blocks, and we've done 9. So do the math. Do the math. The MPP will give you a 6-bedroom house. The NDC will talk plenty and give you 1-bedroom house. And that is the difference for me in terms of deliverables with the NPP compared to the NDC. Now, to conclude, I believe sincerely that the NPP is the best set of hands under any circumstance to help the affairs of this country. And I must admit to our viewers that, listen, there's been challenges. Just as Finance Minister, the President, and Dr. Bawumia has said, there's been challenges. I mean, in financial terms, you talk about forward-looking statements. We had forward-looking statements for this country. We got derailed a bit by challenges that were unforeseen. But yet, we've managed to steer the ship, and things are moving steadily and in a very positive way. And I must say this, that the rate of change of consumer price index is not the same as it was last year. And these are financial stabilization as we should appreciate. And I can almost say that if we ride the storm, by 6 months from now, Ghanaians will see that certainly we are back to basics and where we really wanted to be, prior to now. So, in concluding, I think that one, as for an old dog, you can't teach new tricks, and we know all that Mahama embodies. Bawumia comes in with a fresh cabinet, and I believe that they can deliver and deliver very well. And I cited the example of Alexander the Great, who outdid his father, and I believe in my truest heart that Bawumia will outdo.
But Puchumbafu sent you a text on the Alexander the Great and his father.
Yeah.
Okay, it's a very interesting text.
So I'll see it.
He's asking whether you know that Alexander the Great died at 33.
Well, age is on our side.
He was killed by his girlfriend.
Age is on our side.
Alexander the Great?
But he did.
His girlfriend poisoned him
to
death at 33.
Okay, but he did that's one of the theories.
His father lived to a ripe old age, so his father was doing something right.
I'm not saying he died of malaria.
I'm not saying that the father didn't do something right. I was very, very clear about that. That the dad did well, but the son outdid him in terms of.
Well, Doc. Just for
let me just read this before.
Okay.
So, Mr. Paul Afoko, the former chairman of your party.
MPP. Oh, yeah.
It says his regards to both of you and everybody. It says Nkrumah has no equal when it comes to investing in education. Let us remain faithful to facts. We have the benefit of hindsight of well over 50 years of vilification of Nkrumah, but his record has exposed the propagandist. You can put your best foot forward when you are campaigning, but you immediately lose credibility and with it your message if you deviate miles away from facts. So that's his view.
Exactly.
That's okay.
Doc, please, this thing about one STEM school is quadruple e-blog is not true.
Why
I just
do you
checked.
say it's not true?
The capacity of an e-blog is 1,500.
Yes.
The STEM Academy that Akufo-Addo cut the sword for, I'm reading from Asase Radio, the capacity is 2,000. From kindergarten to SHS, is 2,000.
Kindergarten?
Yes, he was building a STEM Academy, which was even something special. So I have the STEM Academy.
So that is different.
Yes, then the STEM
that one is just at East Legon.
Look, there is another story I see here, which also says that.
Look at what's on the TV.
Yes, which also says
look
that.
At what's on the TV.
Which also says that the population is, or the capacity is 2,000.
Yes.
So it is still around that figure.
No.
All the stories I'm seeing. 2,000.
Oh,
I'm sure maybe at most 2,000.
This is about four or more.
If you are saying, the capacity, hold on, the capacity of an e-block is 1,500. If you say one STEM school is quadrupled that, then you're saying that the capacity of the STEM school is 6,000 or more.
Yes.
It is not
That's
true.
not correct.
So please, that's the point I'm making. But Doc, before we sign out, I see this I see here. Let me just quickly address the issue we raised at our press conference.
So I was going to ask you
Yeah.
about that. I was going to wind up with
Yeah.
that. And we'll just spend some 6 minutes on that.
Okay.
Your presser, and then the MPP also held a presser yesterday, and they accused you of training vigilantes and all that. Then the IGP has also met CSOs, and he says that, I mean, we should be rest assured. They outdoor the 5,400-page document, which is dealing with election security. It's told us what's going to happen at collation centers and polling stations and everything. And so he's giving Ghanaians the necessary assurances.
Well, as for the MPP's press conference, the least said about it, the better. It was a complete waste of time because they only sought to engage in equalization and obfuscate the issues. The name they mentioned, COP retired Kofi Boakye, is a hero to the police service of Ghana. He never, during the many years that he served as a police officer, never engaged in or supervised election-related violence. Neither was he found to have compromised the sanctity, the peacefulness of any election. So to accuse such a man of a plot to rig elections without any evidence is complete nonsense, and we will not even dignify that with a response. COP retired Kofi Boakye's record is there for everybody to see. He is the one who rather catches vigilantes and criminals. He cannot be the one training vigilantes to destabilize Ghana. And if they are worried that people who have defected from the MPP, those bad boys the MPP once used to cause mayhem in Kumasi, like Seydou MBA, who has come out to confess about how he was used by certain MPP leading figures and has apologized to Mahama. If they are worried that some young people like that are following Kofi Boakye, then it's their own cup of tea. But as for Kofi Boakye, he has been an excellent police officer who has always protected the peace of Ghana. And he has a sterling credential, public track record to that effect. So, I will not even dignify that. With regards to the issue we have raised, Doc, we are talking about a man who has been found by a commission of inquiry that has the powers of the High Court. I'm talking about the Elmi Short Commission of Inquiry that investigated the Ayawaso West Wuogon by-elections. He's been found by the commission as the mastermind of the 31st January 2019 mayhem and brutalities we witnessed at Ayawaso West Wuogon. And if I can just quickly read that, I'm talking about then Colonel Mike Opoku, and anybody can read paragraph 3.4 and 3.5 of the Elmi Short Commission report. Now, I don't have time to read, but the point is, this man was found to be the mastermind. And that election, that by-election, is the most bloody by-election or election we've had in this country, where for the first time, we saw MPP vigilantes clothed in national security apparels, armed to the teeth, and they didn't even have the authorization to wield those arms. But this guy gave them the arms. They went and shot at innocent, unarmed civilians, harmed many in the process, maimed many in the process. We all know that. And that is the reason why the Short Commission recommended that he be reprimanded at paragraph 3.5 of their report. Now we found out that the guy was not reprimanded at all. Rather, he has been promoted from the rank of colonel to brigadier general. And he has been rewarded with a juicy appointment as the general officer commanding for the entire central command of the Ghana Armed Forces, headquartered in Kumasi, the capital of the Ashanti region. And by virtue of his position, he is part of the security task force for this year's election. And we are saying that this man is a danger and a threat to free, fair, and peaceful elections. He should be nowhere near the security architecture for elections in this country. That is number one. Number two, because of his record and his credentials, as a man who once supervised the most bloody, violent election we have seen in this country, we believe the intelligence, the credible intelligence we have received, that he is implementing the same strategy he used for Ayawaso West Wuogon. What strategy is it? Training MPP vigilantes, who he intends once again to clothe in military apparels, like he clothed Double and his ilk in national security apparels for the first time in the history of Ghana. And he plans to arm them just like he armed Double and his goons to harm innocent civilians at Ayawaso. He plans to do the same thing to aid the MPP rig elections in Ashanti because he has been promised the position of CDS. So this is a man, we have said, we are not leaving it at the level of a press conference. We are preparing our petition the necessary, you will see, because we have pictures of people who are being trained at Asotuare and military sites under his directions. And we are going to give that to the IGP, who is the chairman of the Election Security Task Force. We are going to give a copy to the CDS, who the guy does not even respect because he thinks that he deals directly with the president. And we are also going to petition all our developmental partners and stakeholders in the peace of Ghana. The Otumfuo, the British High Commission, the US Embassy in Ghana, all of them, ECOWAS, the election observers, we want them to know that this guy who has been found by a commission of inquiry to have supervised the Ayawaso West Wuogon atrocities is the one giving this appointment by the Akufo-Addo. Sure. It cannot be a mere coincidence. So it's completely, baseless for the NPP to try to equalize by just throwing an allegation against Kofi Boakye when Kofi Boakye's record is sterling and squeaky clean. He does not have any such record like this Brigadier General Michael Opoku has.
Yes. In fact, I've met Colonel Opoku, Brigadier General, about a couple of times. Very gentle man. By no measure what he's been described here by Sammy Gyamfi. And I actually worry. I mean, I don't know why we are, putting, such a revered person's name out. We need to keep the military out of, quote unquote, smearing politics. I really think so. And I worry when we bring into disrepute such highly qualified military people. So I'll plead out of respect for Sammy Gyamfi that he limits this talk about a military
You care
leader.
to find out what paragraph 3.4 of
I mean,
the
this
commission says about
this
you?
is
Should I read it to you?
A commission's inquiry how many years ago?
Yeah,
and
2019.
and I'm sure that other things have happened which then guided the military in his as it is promotion. And I believe that it is important, just as we are respecting Kofi Boakye, based on his sterling performance
You want to compare
in the police,
this guy to Kofi Boakye
in the
on the
police
basis of what?
service. It's important that we give reverence.
Was he involved in the Caleb Kuda issue?
He was involved in the Modern Ghana issue, which happened in July of 2019. It was when he was director of operations at National Security that the editor of Modern Ghana and one other journalist were abducted and tortured by National Security.
So I think that these listen carefully. What I'm saying is that as we near elections, it's important that we leave the military out of some of these things. And
this issue is not about the military.
And when it comes about smearing officials of the military, I do not support it.
Who is smearing who?
I do not support it because I'm of the opinion that based on the oath this man has sworn to Ghana and not to any party, he is not by any way going to act out of line.
Okay, so what do you make
to
of
the
this?
interest of Ghana?
No, what does it
His
make of
oath is to Ghana, not to any party.
The commission
and he is even active. He is active.
Hold on.
Kofi Boakye is not active.
Hold on. The commission recommends the reprimand of Colonel Michael Opoku for being ultimately responsible for the outcome of the SWAT operation at La Baoleshi School Police Station. His liability is further reinforced by his failure to properly define the mission for which the SWAT team was sent and ensuring that the SWAT team complied with the defined mission. Further, he failed to conduct an internal inquiry into identifying the culprits of the offense when revelations became rife that there were operational lapses resulting in violation of human rights. It is further recommended that Colonel Opoku be made to immediately release the weapons used for, as well as the persons involved in the operation, to enable ballistic testing and analysis to be undertaken and for further investigations by the police. This is the man you are talking about.
Has no party.
This is the man you are talking about.
He has no party.
Thanks for joining me.
His oath is to Ghana.
Up next. So the oath.
His oath is to the country.
Presidents take an oath. They don't.
To the country.
Vice presidents take an oath.
For the country.
Ministers take an oath.
Yes.
MPs take an oath.
Yes, we do.
To the country. Yes. Okay. and we are where we are.
And they all abide by their oaths.
And we are where we are. Up next, our conversation with the Minerals Commission.
There's nothing worse than your multi-bet missing, but nothing better than having it saved. BetSaver.
Good business means seeing the possibilities and maximizing opportunities. Making sure you have a responsive support system backs your business goals. A partner that gives you a stable platform with reliable connectivity and seamless solutions, and better understands the tools required to take you to the next level. With so many moving parts in running a business, we do our best to provide you with some stability. The only kind of stability you can find with MTN Business Broadband, the fastest and most reliable internet provider in Ghana, making sure you stay ahead and stay connected, because we understand what makes your business tick.
Sign up today on broadband.mtn.com.gh or call or WhatsApp 0244 308 111.
MTN.
Radio. I'm the first vice president to collect a bribe of $200,000 before meeting investors. Who am I?
Okay, radio. My administrator wrote a letter to steal 10,000 bags of rice from a businessman for my Ramadan donation. Who am I? Guys, wait. Alhaji Bawumia, the rice master. Yeah. So I orchestrated the PDS scam and also made sure that family and friends of the NPP stole 2 billion cedis of money we paid as light bill. Ghana also lost over $190 million from the Americans through the same PDS scandal. Who am I?
Alhaji Bawumia. Amefa, answer this question for 10 points. When I was in opposition, I spoke against soul sourcing. Since I became vice president, I have given multiple inflated contracts to my brother and his wife through corrupt soul source deals. Who am I?
Alhaji Bawumia. Hi guys.
Hi.
So this is a bonus riddle. I am Alhaji, but my favorite delicacy is whiskey with pork. Who am I? Alhaji Bawumia.
Vote for change. Vote for John Mahama and the NDC.
Here's Kwame and Yao. After hours of planning, both have locked in the same perfect multi-bet. Big win for United, over 1.5. And both teams to score in the London Derby. But who could have picked Leicester over City? Or a high-scoring game at the Bridge? There's nothing worse than having your perfect multi-bet missing. But there's nothing better than having it saved. BetSaver. Win, even if your bet misses.
The luckiest.
Star 712 hash.
Luck is everywhere.
8K. Hey, you get an 8K. Get a packing from your pocket. Hey, wait. You go put it on his tab. This is my man. Good luck. Mobile radio. We are star 712. I'm on dialing the magic numbers. Star 712. Now welcome to the luckiest. And now with me at home ticket. You can buy for yourself or your loved one. Mommy, tell mommy who's here.
You're buying for me, right?
Or who else?
Oh.
Let's choose buy tickets for others.
Love you, boo boo.
Maybe straight to option 4. Now we try. You need to buy tickets worth 50 Ghana to qualify. Yes, you can buy random or preferred tickets. I'm choosing random tickets. Listen, if you buy the random ticket, the system chooses a random number for you. But if you buy the preferred, you get to input your own preferred 5 digits. 5.
Baby, give me your 5 numbers.
And how much are we buying?
Babe, look at the body and buy you.
With your body,
So good, miss.
Hey, there, tread cautiously. Now follow the prompts and confirm. Now the luckiest.
The Luckiest is regulated by the NLA on the Caritas platform, not for persons below 18 years. TNCs apply.
Remember the dark days of Dumso under Mahama's administration? Vital surgeries halted. Dumso killed many people and will kill many more if we do not vote wisely. Dumso destroyed many businesses and will destroy more if we do not vote wisely. Businesses suffered irreparable losses. Dumso disrupted family life and will do more if we do not vote wisely. Student studies disrupted. MPP's era has seen stable power supply. Never again should we return to Dumso. Let's keep the lights on. Vote wisely.
Esuro. Vote number 1 on the ballot.
There's nothing worse than your multi-bet missing, but nothing better than having it saved. Bet Saver.
Right, welcome back to the show. If you just joined us, this is Good Morning Ghana live on Metro TV. Time for our conversation with the Minerals Commission and the CEO, Mr. Martin Ayisi, is here. Good morning, Martin. How have you been?
Oh, it's been a while. I've missed almost about 3 sessions. Unfortunately, they all coincided with official trips. So I had no choice than to make way for that.
So what are we looking at today?
The local content report for 2023 is out, and it's quite interesting what is contained in there, and I want us to look at a few things. I'll share a copy with you. Our relevant pages, and we'll have something put on the screen too.
Okay.
Our relevant pages will be 31 to start with. But before we look at 31, I will need to set the scene with what you have on page 5. Randy, before that, good morning to our viewers and listeners. So we'll look at page 5 as a way of setting the scene, and then we'll go and look at the report now.
The local procurement list.
Yes. We've been running this thing for 10 years. But the law properly came into force in 2020. So the first edition of the list was published in 2014. This will not be displayed on the screen. It's rather the one on page 31.
Okay.
2014. So those are the items that are listed there. And then in 2015.
So first edition of LPL.
Yes, that's a local procurement list.
It contained 8 items. It contained only 8 items. Grinding media, explosives, emulsion, cement, quick hydrated lime, electric cables, HDPE stroke PVC pipes, general lubricants, retread ties. These were the 8 items.
These were the 8 items. I saw your Annie was able to display it. That would be nice.
Okay, just page 5. Page 5.
Page 5. Page 5 of the full report.
Right, we're gonna.
Now, Randy, all this, and it's important we just spend some 5 minutes, set the scene before we go to the other one. All this came about because anytime the receipts come out, they said we don't get to anything. It's just they pay taxes. They just pay the taxes and then royalties and go. And the state doesn't get anything. We don't own the mines. So we started this exercise based on some research in 2012, 13 now, but then we got the 8 items. In other words, it turns out that they use many of these items. So in 2015, 11 was added. 11 was added to the 2014 item. So you can see that in the far left column, I've written 19. The second edition, we added 11. So that means as at the end of 2015, the items rose from 8 to 19.
So we added bolts and nuts, crucibles, plastic sample bags, calico bags, bullion boxes, chain link fencing, including wire netting, barbed wire, etc., conveyor rollers, metal stroke PVC core trays, overalls and work clothes, haulage services, and catering services.
So, yes. And then in 2018, for some reason, there was some delay for almost about 3 years because these are supposed to be revised every year. So in 2018, we added an additional 10 items, the ones in green. So that took the items to 29. That is it.
So legal, in 2018, we added legal, security, insurance, financial contract, mining services, fuel supply, activated carbon, cable bolts and access, wear resistant plates and couples.
Yes.
Okay. So that's it. It's on the screen now.
That is it. And then, so that is it.
So you can read. So it starts from the first edition, January 2014,
yes,
with 8 items. Then the additions. So the items you see are the additions.
Yes.
We don't repeat the previous ones. So it's what is added at which period. So 2014, 2015, 2018, then 2022, because the items are a lot, they are not itemized. So we move from 29 to 41 for the 4th edition. That's early 2022. And for the 5th edition, 9 was added. We moved from 41 to 50. That's 2023.
So the revolution started after the LI that was published in 2020, where we rapidly moved the items from
19 to 50.
19. No, we added 19. We added, I think, 12 more.
Yeah, we moved from 19 to 50.
We moved from 29
yes,
to 41.
Yes, the law was in 20.
The law was in 2020.
Yes, so subsequent to the law, there have been 3 additions.
Yes.
Which has moved it from 19 to 50.
Yes. So now as you speak, we have 50 items.
Yeah.
We've completed some reviews and we'll publish a new one, hopefully this month, and increase it again.
To what?
Maybe 55, 56 thereabout.
Which can you tell us some of the items that you think you're adding?
Oh, it's normally we just add a few things, but what we do is that we increase the capacity for the Ghanaians.
The local.
So, for example, if you look at 2022 editions, okay, if you look at the earlier editions, the financial services that were introduced in 2018, it was 20%.
Yes.
For insurance and financial services. And then now, so when we published the 41 items, we now say 60%.
So we could even have the same number of items, increased participation.
Yes, my focus more is in-country retention.
Okay.
That's a drive. So by and large, that is it. Now let's go back to page.
So just clarify something for me. So it means that not all these 50 items have 100% local participation.
Yes.
Not all.
Not all.
Okay.
So next week, I'll display the 50 items and split them into 3 categories. What is 100% Ghanaian? Like, let's say, fuel supply, catering, haulage, security.
So the levels of
yes,
local content.
Yes. So there are basically 3. What is strictly Ghanaian, like fuel, contract mining, open pit. Then what has some percentages because we still don't want to create monopoly. And then the one that is, if you like, open, free for all.
Okay.
There were items that were once free for all. As you increase Ghanaian capacity, maybe 2 or 3, then you move it to like 20, 30, 40%.
Okay.
Then with time, if you have 5, 6 people and they are very good, 100%.
Right.
So I'll do that next week. But what is relevant today is page 31.
Okay.
I think they have that on the screen, and let me explain. Maybe I'll just do that quickly, and then next week we'll spend more time to go into the details. So if the producer can put that page on the screen, that would be very helpful. Randy, in 2022, page 31, just get to there, you see
6.0.
And page 31.
Is it conclusions and way forward?
Yes, conclusion and way forward, 6.0.
Right.
And so Anne can put it on the screen, and that will help the discussion. So, in 2022, the total mineral export was 6.8 billion. That is receipts from mineral exports. Gold alone was 6.6 billion. Now, the filings of just 13 operations, not companies. I'll have to tell you the difference. I'll be very happy if she can put it on the screen, what I sent to her by email. And that will let, not this one. I have a word table that I sent her by email.
Okay, just go on.
Yes.
She'll look for it on.
Not this one. Not this one. She's still.
No, she'll put it back.
She'll just put it there. So, $6.6 billion came.
Are you referring to this?
Yes, I'm referring to this.
Okay.
I'm referring to this. So this is 2023 report on expenditures on goods and services. That is 2023. Now, Randy, this report covers 13, operations. 13 operations. And then in 2022, what it is telling us is that nearly 1.9 billion of 6.8 billion was spent on goods and services by the mining companies. So that is about 29%. So it means that 29% of the receipts of the sale of minerals in 2022 was spent on goods and services by just 13 operations. That's about 1.9 billion. And it's important you get this point clearly. 29 items.
Yes.
29 items. Because when we were going through the list, you realize that I said in October 2018, we published a third edition.
Yes.
And that took the items from 19 to 29. So 29 items that were used by the companies in 2022. Expenditures were 1.9 billion. Receipts 6.6. Then look at the difference now. So now you see the importance of reviewing the list.
Right.
So last year, $3 billion. These were items that were put on the list, 50. So we added 21 items, to the fourth edition, and we got 50 items, and then we spent 3 billion. Randy, sale of minerals in 2023 was about $7.8 billion. So if I do the mathematics, 40% of the receipts last year was spent on goods and services. That is it. So you can see the figure there. But there are some interesting things that the public needs to take account of. So you have what they call total procurement expenditure. If you look at your screen, total procurement expenditure.
Yes.
What it simply means is that is the total amount that was spent in 2022 and 2023. Now, the next one is total local procurement. Total local procurement. 2022 was a sterling performance. Then you also have total true local procurement. So those are the differences. I want us to focus on the figure in red. So the nearly 3 billion was everything that the company spent on goods and services. And This does not include the medium-sized mines like Akroma and Co. These are just 13 operations. Then you now have total local procurement. That is 2.4. You understand that? It tells you that the difference between the 2.9 and 2.4, the nearly 500 was imported. Do you see the difference?
Yes.
So it means that government policy at all materials times should be looking at closing that gap. You see the difference?
Clarify something.
So let me explain now.
No, not that.
Uh-huh.
I see total procurement expenditure. I see total local procurement expenditure.
And
then I see total true local procurement expenditure. What's that?
So you see, this is where government policy comes in. When you get a data like this, and this is what we will now advise government and say, this is what we need to fix. So when you say total procurement expenditure, I'm here saying that according to the report of 13 operations, they spent nearly 3 billion in procuring goods and services. Some of them were imported, some of them were procured locally. So that is the total expenditure, $3 billion. In fact, the figure is more than this because we've not added the medium-sized mines like Akroma and Co, those small ones. Now, so that is total procurement expenditure, and this is dollars. When you say total local procurement expenditure, that is roughly 2.4 billion. What was spent here, irrespective of whether the person is a Ghanaian or is not a Ghanaian. Okay? Then look at the last one, and that's what is important. So we use the term total true local procurement expenditure. So if you look at the 3 billion, total true local procurement expenditure is roughly about 1.5 billion, half. And that is manufacturers and services procured by Ghanaians. So it means that at the end of 2023, having looked at the filings of 13 operations, I don't want us to confuse operations and companies. 13 operations. The report shows that...
Is it because one company can have more than
yes,
one operation?
So for example, Newmont has, if you like, 3 operations now. They have a Ahafo, and they are building a new one, and they have Achim, but the filings are on the 2, Achim and Ahafo. So Newmont has 2 operations. Goldfields has 2, Takwa and Aboso. Do you get it? So between Newmont and Goldfields, 4
operations. Okay.
So out of the 13 that I've listed there, 4 alone are from 2 companies. Okay? And I'm saying about 3 billion was spent by all these 13 operations to procure all kinds of goods and services. Some were imported, some were procured locally. Now,
please put it back.
Yeah, put it back, it's very important. About half of that were services and things that were manufactured and bought from Ghanaian companies. That is, entities whose shareholders and directors are 100% Ghanaians. It means that the difference between the nearly 3 billion and 1.4 is accounted from 2 sources. Foreign companies that have set up here, particularly those that are in manufacturing.
That's about 1 billion.
Yes. No, 1.5.
No, I'm saying the one you give, that's about 1 billion. And
it's 1.5.
I'm getting that figure from the difference between total local procurement expenditure and total true local. Between the 2 is about 1 billion.
1.5.
Okay.
Total procurement expenditure is almost 3 billion.
I'm saying total local procurement as against total true local procurement.
Yes.
You've explained the total true local procurement.
Yes.
So the difference between total local procurement and total true local procurement is
about 1 billion.
Yes, that's the point.
It's at 1 billion. But I'm not even worried about that because they are here, they pay taxes. Increasingly, Ghanaians are entering that space. My worry is the difference between the 3 billion and the 2.4.
That's the 500,000.
That $500 million.
500 million, yes.
That is imported.
Okay.
Yeah, so what we do is that we will list all those items and then now come out with an advisory opinion to government and say, you know something? This is how much the company spent in, let's say, the last 5 years. You run the report all the way to, let's say, the last one. And as at 2023, that's about 500. 2022 was very good. Okay, I guess because of the new operations that were coming, so a lot of stuff came in. So then, these items that are imported, you know, where are they coming from? What are they? Can't we do them locally here? Don't we have local champions? We should. That's when now you have to look at cost of producing them. Can you compete with China? So you have to look at energy cost. So you see, there are certain things that just go beyond us. Okay, it's like this illegal mining thing. It's not just MINCOM and the ministry. You understand? Because if this item is used by the mining company for the purpose of this discussion, and it's costing 1 cedi to import, okay, but it will cost you 2 cedis to produce here. It means that there's no way you can ask that it should be done locally here, unless you give incentives or you reduce the cost of energy. You are even worse off if the material used to produce the item is imported.
Right.
Then the issue of the exchange rate comes in now. So let's say around 11 cedis, maybe 2-3 years ago, roughly around 16 now. So he will spend more to import that. So our worry are the raw materials that are imported because of the exchange rate. You understand? But I'm not too worried about the ones that can be, the items can be sourced here. Then that's when you also have to look at energy costs and other things. And then if you can compete with almighty China. So Randy, 40% of all the expenditures, of all the expenditures, you know, can be attributed. So, no, let me put it this way. If you take the total mineral receipt of 7.8 billion, 40% came from expenditures on goods and services. Can I tell you how much the mining companies paid on taxes and levies to government?
How much?
1.6 billion. So it means that, and then I was trying to look at table 11. Let me take you to table 11. But they can still stay there. Just look at table 11. Flip through, just look at the top there. You see table 11. So right.
Is it a summary of information?
Yes.
2020?
I put a
Overall
few things.
procurement.
Yes. Table 11. But Randy, I just want you. I want the lady to stay there. If the report from Minerals Commission is telling you that 40% of revenue receipts are spent on goods and services, 40%, and then that is about $3 billion, and roughly half of what was produced was sourced locally. It's almost equivalent to what was paid in taxes. Why the fixation with royalty and taxes? Because right now, 2 weeks ago, President went and cut the sword for a new mine in the north. That is a $700 million mine. Okay? Perhaps the third biggest. They will produce between now and December, but full production will be next year. They'll do around 300,000 ounces. Now, this 700 million, they will need to take the money back. If the price of gold stays like that per our models, maybe 2-3 years. But the bulk of this 700 million went to goods and services. So next year, when Cardinal files their report, because they didn't file this year, because they just started, they will be filing in 2025. Okay? So when we come out to the 2024 report, you will see that we'll be heading towards about 4-5 billion. You understand that? So this is where the issue is. I'm not saying royalties are not important. I'm not saying corporate taxes are not important. But Cardinal, they are not going to pay corporate tax next year. Okay? But they are going to spend millions of dollars, if not billions, the whole of next year to procure these 50 items at the list. Is even going to go up. And I just realized in the 2023 report, okay, that $70 million was spent on TSF.
What's that?
Tailing Storage Facility.
Right.
An item we put on the list. December 2022. So it means that if we had not put that item on the list, the whole of 2023, this 70 million will have gone outside. So until January 2023, TSF was built by foreign companies.
Right.
From Australia, from Canada, from USA.
It was open.
It was
It
open.
wasn't restricted.
It was open. And even when we wanted to introduce it, we were told that, oh, we don't have the technology.
There was a pushback.
Only for us to realize that that of Takwa and Dama was built by a Ghanaian.
Yeah.
The same Ghanaian company that built that of Cardinal.
Okay.
So that's how far we have come. I'll wrap up, but more information will come next week.
Okay.
And just to tell you how the mines spend money.
Mm.
So here I am. I'm looking at the figure from Takwa. So go back to your table 11.
Yes, go on.
Table 11, Takwa Goldfields spent $583 million.
Yes.
Takwa alone, which until recently was Ghana's biggest gold mine, spent $583 million last year on goods and services. Randy, that is royalties for 2 years.
Total royalties.
Yes. You understand? Yeah. That is royalties for 2 years, like 2022, 2023. Takwa alone.
Yes.
And then look at Aboso Goldfields, 140 million. So it means that Newmont, Ahafo,
yes,
which is 493 million. So Newmont spent almost 500 million. But they will now spend more than Takwa now because of the expansion that is going on. So between Goldfields and Newmont, that is Newmont Achim, Newmont Ahafo, Achim is down there, 188. Goldfields, Takwa, and Goldfields Aboso. If you put these four together, their expenditures on local supplies and services is the same as the entire taxes and levies to government of Ghana. So that is where a lot of people got the debate on the lithium agreement wrong. Because people were talking about, oh, why don't you make royalty 20%, 15%? You understand? Why? Because Cardinal, they are not going to pay corporate tax now. Okay? If the gold price stays like that, because interest rates keep falling, geopolitics, aggressive buying by central bank, this heavy spending by Asians to buy gold, if the price of gold stays like that, then maybe 3-4 years, they'll recover the 700 million. You understand? Before they will start paying taxes. So what would they be paying? They will just be paying royalty because that is paid on revenue. But they will be spending millions of dollars every year on goods and services. So it tells you that all your policies, the bulk of it should be designed towards capturing and making sure that most of these goods and services are not only procured locally, but the ones that are also imported, with time, you get Ghanaians to enter, like Wayo Engineering and Co. Then when you are able to deal with the ownership conundrum, forcing them to list on the stock exchange, the kind of thing MIF is doing, because state ownership of mine, forget it. We messed up. It won't happen. So the kind of interest MIF is taking in Atlantic Lithium, Ashanti Gold, now they pour money into the graphite project in Upper West. You understand that? And encouraging Ghanaians to also buy and do all those things. We are looking at the possibilities, like in the next 4 or 5 years, when you get up and you mention a mining company, then you can say, oh, this is 100% owned by Ghanaians, like Ghana Bauxite. You mention maybe Ashanti, close to about 50% owned by Ghanaians. You mention another company, 40, another company, 30. And if we continue to put aggressively on the local content, then we can say, and then tackle almighty small scale, then we can say mining is benefiting us. So the last 3, 4, 5 years, these new policies have actually changed the space. Okay, look at explosives. Over $100 million on explosives. Cardinal has just commissioned. They are going to spend millions of dollars to break up those rocks there. In about 7 months, Ahafo North will also be commissioned. So between Cardinal and Ahafo North, that's about 600,000 ounces. If you multiply it by 2 billion. So look at the explosives that will be spent in Ahafo North, Cardinal, when Azuma is ready, and Atlantic Lithium. So you may have about 400 or 500 million. So this is where the money is.
Right.
So almost all our efforts and policies should be geared towards ensuring that 100% or as much as possible, all these goods and services. I mean, can you imagine? $583 million spent by one company on goods and services. So it means that if we are not implementing these kind of policies, they will have been importing these things. Who were in this country when they were importing overall overall clothes for their mines? And when this country, when foreigners were selling fuel to the mine, 1957 independence, first large-scale commercial mine, 1897, over 126 years. Manganese started producing 1916, Ghana bauxite 1941. So if you cannot manufacture excavator, Randy, if you cannot manufacture excavator and dump trucks, you want to allow foreigners to come and sell fuel? To come and sell fuel, lubricants, and provide catering services. We stop all that. So we are going to increase the list again. That is it. So I'm expecting that when the filings for this year come, we might cross 4 billion. Because as at October, receipts alone is about $9.3 billion. As at October. If you look at the latest figures from export of gold, not manganese and coal. So that, remember, somewhere in March, I predicted that export will be more than 10 billion, and we are almost there. So, Randy, all our efforts, if you ask me, so let me just wrap up because I have a meeting at 11:30. All our efforts in this country, in mining, should be directed towards 5 things. What I'm just discussing, how the goods and services, the billions, the 3 billion that was spent just last year alone, everything can be procured here. Every policy should be channeled towards that, and that's our job. So arising from this filing, the fallout of this filing is an advice to government and say, take here, look at this place, look at this place. That's number one. Number two, we cannot sit down. I'm not, let me put it this way. When you say this, they say, resource nationalism. I'm not against foreigners, but foreigners cannot own our mines forever. So we got to fix the ownership conundrum. That is why the stock exchange team, the MIF angle, and Ghanaians, and also hedge funds and co, we are asking them to pour money. Okay? Every day when I come here, every Thursday I come here, I mention SNIT. I started last year. The beginning of this year, the price of gold, average for gold in January was 2030. Okay? The price went almost all the way to 270, going to 200. And then after Trump's election, it dropped to about $200. Now it is around 2,600. So it means that you've seen more than 30% increase in the price of gold since January. So you could have imagined, again, let me repeat, if SNIT has taken, let's say, $10 million, see the equivalent of our money, okay, and has bought gold in January, and they are selling now, we'll all be celebrating Christmas. I was listening to DWTV, Deutsche Welle television. I think Metro captured it early this morning. I'm told that 70% of the reserves of Germany is in gold. China is 4.6%. So for me, that's the second one. You address the ownership conundrum, fix this local content in which we are doing very well, address small scale, which will tackle jobs. You're talking about 3 million. You understand that? And then also we need to fix manufacturing of inputs locally. Once we put all these things in place, then we can now behave like the way South Africans and Australians and Canadians, get up and say, so we're not done yet. Right. We're not done yet because we're seeing, 5 new projects, 1 gone. Kaduna is gone. So next year we'll commission at Ahafo. Then 2026, most likely lithium will be ready. Azuma will be ready. And then the manganese refinery will also be ready. So we'll end here for now. And as we capture the medium-sized companies and we increase the number of companies on the list, that is it. So when I say mining is our DNA, it is. I know just like the 35 million Ghanaians, including you and I, the issue of illegal money is still a nightmare. It's not gone away. But we need to celebrate.
All right.
Thank you very much.
Okay, so in celebrating, a couple of weeks ago on this show, we were talking about what a businessman who's also a philanthropist has done with respect to a Joy News documentary about somebody who needed a kidney transplant, and the fact that he had decided to go to the aid of this person and bear the full cost of the kidney transplant. And I'm talking about Mr. Ibrahim Mahama, the CEO of Engineers and Planners. Now, guess what? As I wrap up, incidentally, we're just talking about mining. So, in the corridors of Rich Hospital, Lisa Lai's family gathers around the phone, watching a faint smile from the intensive care unit, ICU. It is the only glimpse of the 10-year-olds they have had in days. Lisa, who once filled her home with laughter and light, is now battling stage 4 leukemia, a life-threatening cancer of the blood and bone marrow. Lisa, a student of Lerato Preparatory and GHS in Latebiokoshi, was known for her love of books and her dream of becoming a pediatrician. But her vibrant life slowed on October 31, 2024, when what seemed like a simple cold and headache escalated into the unimaginable. Lisa went for career day at school, and then my mother was called by the school authority that Lisa was complaining of body pains. On 1st November 2024, she was taken to the hospital for treatment for common cold and malaria, but upon close examination by the physicians, we were told they were going to admit her. Georgia Golightly Thompson further told Joy News, Joy News is Emmanuel Jivenu, later I was called for counseling at the hospital. I was very alarmed, and I was devastated when the news was broken to me that Lisa had been diagnosed with stage 4 leukemia, which happens to be cancer of the blood and bone marrow. Her condition requires urgent treatment, including a bone marrow transplant in South Africa. The cost? A staggering $100,000. For Lisa's family, raising this amount seemed impossible. Quote, I had started selling my assets and it wasn't getting anywhere. I had sold my little plot of land I had, but it still didn't amount to anything, Lisa's mom indicated. Desperation drove the family to social media, where they shared Lisa's story in a heartfelt plea for help. The post quickly went viral, and the family's prayers were answered when it reached the CEO of Engineers and Planners and Jata Cement, Ibrahim Mahama, known for his philanthropic efforts. Mr. Mahama has pledged to cover the entire cost of Lisa's treatment, including airfare for Lisa, her mother, and auntie, as well as a medical doctor to South Africa. And speaking on his behalf, Rafiq Mahama, especially to Ibrahim Mahama, said, quote, Mr. Ibrahim Mahama doesn't look at cost when it comes to saving somebody's life. He gives those instructions that whatever it takes to save the person's life, you go ahead and do it. So that's why we didn't look at the costs of it, but make sure we got Lisa to South Africa and for her to go through the procedure. We have the doctors on standby and nurses as well, and they are even in touch with the family. For Georgia and the rest of Lisa's family, the relief was overwhelming. Lisa's aunt, who had tirelessly supported the family throughout this ordeal, expressed her gratitude as well. Lisa is expected to leave for South Africa today, Thursday, November 21, 2024. So this is how we end today's edition of Good Morning Ghana. Thank you very much, Mr. Ibrahim Mahama. God richly bless you. Wow.